Vilevile bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha hoja ya ripoti ya kamati ya bunge lote kuhusu mswada wa utaratibu wa hafla ya kutoa afisi ya gavana mteule baada ya uchaguzi. Kadhalika, bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha mswada kuhusu shirika la huduma ya vijana kwa taifa NYS. Mswada huu unakusudia kuangazia majukumu, maadili na mfumo wa usimamizi wa shirika la NYS. Mswada huu unatilia maanani maadili ya kitaifa ya kanuni za utawala kama ilivyoratibishwa kwenye vifungu vya 6 na 10 vya haki za kimsingi kwenye katiba, na pia maadili ya utumishi wa umma yanayoangaziwa kwenye kifungu cha 232 cha katiba. Baadhi ya majukumu ya shirika la NYS ni utoaji mafunzo ya kijeshi, kuendesha shughuli za kibiashara na kuzindua mipango ya kulistawisha shirika hilo. Pia mswada huu unakabidhi mamlaka shirika la NYS kuwapeleka vijana wake kuvisaidia vikosi vya ulinzi nyakati za vita, maasi ama shughuli za dharura za umma. Mswada mwingine ulioorodheshwa kwenye ratiba ya leo ni wa kurekebisha sheria kuhusu fedha zinazotengewa kaunti kwenye bajeti. Kamati ya bunge lote inatarajiwa kuchunguza mswada huu wa kurekebisha sheria kuhusu fedha zinazotengewa kaunti na ule kuhusu shirika la huduma ya vijana kwa taifa NYS. Hatimaye kuna hoja kuhusu ripoti ya kamati ya masuala ya utawala na usalama kuhusu usajili wa waliopendekezwa kuhudumu kama naibu mwenyekiti na wanachama wa tume ya kuwaajiri watumishi wa umma. Na wakati wa maswali, mbunge maalum Profesa Jacqueline Odwol kumuuliza waziri wa leba na maslahi ya kijamii kuhusu hatua ambazo wizara hiyo inachukua kuhakikisha watoto wanaohitaji utunzi na ulinzi wanapelekwa katika familia za kambo ama kusailiwa badala ya kupelekwa katika makao ya watoto yanayochipuza na ambayo hayazingatii kikamilifu maslahi ya watoto kama hao. Kadhalika, anamtaka waziri kuwasilisha orodha ya makao yote ya watoto yaliyosajiliwa hapa nchini. Aidha, mbunge huyo anataka kufahamishwa kuhusu sera za Baraza la Kitaifa la Huduma kwa Watoto. Mbunge wa Tigania Magharibi John Kanyuthia Mutunga kumuuliza waziri wa usalama wa kitaifa ikiwa nafahamu kwamba polisi wa akiba Simon Moria kutoka kata za Kandebene, Mumui, Mtawalia waliuawa tarehe 7 mwezi uliopita na raia Stephen Kailemia kutoka kata ya Lobua aliuawa tarehe 28 mwezi uliopita, ilhali Jacob Thiane kutoka kata ya Lobua anauguza majeraha ya risasi katika hospitali kuu ya Meru kufuatia msururu wa visa vya ukosefu wa usalama katika eneo bunge la Tigania Magharibi. Kadhalika, Mheshimiwa Kanyuthia kumuuliza waziri wa usalama wa kitaifa ikiwa nafahamu kwamba polisi wa akiba hawana vifaa vinavyohitajika kwa utekelezaji majukumu yao ya kudumisha usalama. Vilevile anataka kujua ni mikakati gani wizara hiyo inaweka kuhakikisha usalama unaimarishwa katika eneo bunge la Tigania Magharibi na kwamba polisi wa akiba na maafisa wengine wa usalama huko Tigania wamepatiwa magari na vifaa vingine muhimu. Iwapo kuna mikakati iliyowekwa ili kufidia familia za polisi wa akiba waliofariki wakiwa kazini. Mbunge wa Suna Magharibi Peter Francis Masara kumuuliza waziri wa uchimbaji madini iwapo nafahamu kuwa mnamo mwaka 2017 wachimbaji madini 8 kutoka eneo bunge la Suna Magharibi walifariki baada ya kuporomoka kwa migodi walipokuwa wakichimba madini. Msikilizaji na mtazamaji, hivi sasa ni saa 3:35 saa zetu za kanda ya Afrika Mashariki, na tunakuletea matangazo ya moja kwa moja kutoka bunge la taifa kupitia runinga ya KBC Channel 1 na vilevile KBC Radio Taifa. Na tukiangazia yaliyojiri hapo jana ni kwamba wabunge walielezea kuunga mkono hoja ya kuidhinisha ripoti ya kamati ya utangamano wa Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki kuhusu mkataba wa uzinduzi wa teknolojia ya habari na mawasiliano. Wabunge walisema iwapo ripoti hiyo itaidhinishwa, changamoto nyingi za kusafiri na kufanya biashara ambazo zimekuwa zikiwakumba wakazi wa mataifa 6 ya kanda ya Afrika Mashariki zitatatuliwa. Mbunge maalum Godfrey Osotsi alisema hatua hiyo itatoa fursa ya usimamizi bora na ubadilishanaji wa muundo msingi wa teknolojia ya habari na mawasiliano miongoni mwa mataifa wanachama wa Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, jambo alilosema litapunguza gharama ya kufanya biashara. Mbunge wa Endebess Robert Pukose alisema Kenya itanufaika zaidi iwapo ripoti hiyo itaidhinishwa. Wabunge hao ni miongoni mwa wengine kadhaa waliounga mkono hoja hiyo iliyowasilishwa na mbunge wa Samburu Magharibi Naisula Lesuda. Mtazamaji na msikilizaji, tunakuletea matangazo ya moja kwa moja kutoka bunge la taifa, ikiwa hivi sasa ni saa 3:36 saa zetu za kanda ya Afrika Mashariki. Tungali tunasubiri wabunge kuingia ukumbini ili kuweza kuanzisha rasmi kikao cha bunge cha siku ya Alhamisi asubuhi ili kuweza kutekeleza majukumu yao kuambatana na katiba ya Kenya, majukumu yanayojumuisha utunzi wa sheria, uwakilishi wa maeneo bunge mbalimbali na vilevile utathmini wa utendakazi wa serikali. KBC Radio Taifa na KBC runinga ya KBC Channel 1 tuko ngangari kuhakikisha kwamba upitwi na chochote wala lolote kuhusiana na yatakayojiri katika bunge la taifa asubuhi hii. Uwe katika mahali pa kazi, uwe katika nyumbani au uwe unasafiri, msikilizaji na mtazamaji, tuko hapa kuhakikisha kwamba tunakuletea matangazo ya moja kwa moja hadi pale popote ulipo. Na wabunge wanaendelea kuingia, lakini tunasubiri speaker au yule atakayeongoza kikao cha leo asubuhi. Na msikilizaji, tukirejelea yale yanayotarajiwa kushughulikiwa leo katika bunge la taifa, ni kwamba bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha hoja 3 na mswada mmoja. Hoja ya kwanza ni kuhusu ripoti ya mswada wa kurekebisha sheria kuhusu masoko ya mtaji, na uliwasilishwa na mwenyekiti wa kamati ya fedha na maendeleo ya kitaifa ambaye pia ni mbunge wa Kipkelion Mashariki Joseph Limo. Vilevile bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha hoja ya ripoti ya kamati ya bunge lote kuhusu mswada wa kurekebisha sheria kuhusu vyama vya akiba na mikopo kuambatana na mapendekezo yaliyoko kwenye bajeti ya mwaka 2018-2019. Vilevile bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha hoja ya ripoti ya kamati ya bunge lote kuhusu mswada wa utaratibu wa hafla ya kutoa afisi ya gavana mteule baada ya uchaguzi. Kadhalika bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha mswada kuhusu shirika la huduma ya vijana kwa taifa NYS. Mswada mwingine uliorodheshwa kwenye ratiba ya leo ni wa kurekebisha sheria kuhusu fedha zinazotengewa kaunti kwenye bajeti. Mtazamaji na msikilizaji, hivi sasa ni saa 3:39 na namwona mwenyekiti wa 3 wa jopo la spika Jessica Mbalu aliyepia mbunge wa Kibwezi Mashariki ameingia ukumbini kuashiria kwamba yeye ndiye atakayeongoza kikao cha sasa cha siku ya Alhamisi cha bunge la taifa. Ni Alhamisi asubuhi na moja kwa moja anaelekea kuchukua nafasi yake katika ukumbi, ila kwanza anaongoza wabunge kwa maombi ya kufungulia rasmi kikao hiki.
Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the officers of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you have pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just a faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace and prosperity and welfare of the country and those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen.
31. So what
Honourable members, being guided by our standing orders, I order the quorum bell to be rung.
Basi kiongozi wa kikao cha sasa Jessica Mbalu ameagiza kengele kukirizwa kwa muda ili kuwezesha wabunge zaidi kuingia ukumbini ili kuweza kuanzisha rasmi shughuli za leo. Kumbuka msikilizaji na mtazamaji, ni wabunge 50 ndio wanaohitajika kuwa wameingia ukumbini kati ya wabunge wote 349 wa bunge la 12 ili bunge kuweza kuendelea na shughuli zake. Na kwa sasa bila shaka inaonekana kwamba idadi hiyo ya wabunge 50 haijatimizwa, na wabunge wanatarajiwa kuendelea kuingia ukumbini na kujaza akidi. Naona wabunge wanaendelea kuingia ukumbini mmoja baada ya mwingine. Ikiwa hivi sasa ni saa 3:42 unatazama runinga ya KBC Channel 1, hali kadhalika unasikiliza KBC Radio Taifa. Hoja ya kwanza inayotarajiwa kushughulikiwa leo asubuhi ni kuhusu ripoti ya mswada wa kurekebisha sheria kuhusu masoko ya mtaji, na uliwasilishwa na mwenyekiti wa kamati ya fedha na maendeleo ya kitaifa ambaye pia ni mbunge wa Kipkelion Mashariki Joseph Limo. Vile bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha hoja ya ripoti ya kamati ya bunge lote.
Members, when the bell is ringing now, you can, unless it's only the whip who is allowed to walk out of the chamber. This is a quorum bell.
Wabunge wanaendelea kuingia kusudi kujaza.
No, the leader is allowed, is the whip, acting whip.
Idadi ya wabunge inayohitajika. Kumbuka vile bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha hoja ya ripoti ya kamati ya bunge lote kuhusu mswada wa kurekebisha sheria kuhusu vyama vya akiba na mikopo kuambatana na mapendekezo yaliyoko kwenye bajeti ya mwaka 2018-2019. Mswada huu unakusudia kurekebisha sheria ya vyama vya akiba na mikopo ili kuviwezesha kutumia mfumo wa teknolojia ya habari na mawasiliano katika kuwasilisha ripoti zao. Vile bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha hoja ya ripoti ya kamati ya bunge lote kuhusu mswada wa utaratibu na hafla ya kutoa afisi ya gavana mteule baada ya uchaguzi. Kadhalika bunge linatarajiwa kupitisha mswada kuhusu shirika la huduma ya vijana kwa taifa NYS. Mswada huu unakusudia kuangazia majukumu, maadili na mfumo wa usimamizi wa shirika la NYS. Mswada huu unatilia maanani maadili ya kitaifa ya kanuni za utawala kama ilivyoratibishwa kwenye vifungu vya 6 na 10 vya haki za kimsingi kwenye katiba, na pia maadili ya utumishi wa umma yanayoangaziwa kwenye kifungu cha 232 cha katiba. Mswada mwingine uliorodheshwa kwenye ratiba ya leo ni wa kurekebisha sheria kuhusu fedha zinazotengewa kaunti kwenye bajeti. Kamati ya bunge lote pia inatarajiwa kuchunguza mswada huu wa kurekebisha sheria kuhusu fedha zinazotengewa kaunti na ule kuhusu shirika la huduma ya vijana kwa taifa NYS. Hatimaye kuna hoja kuhusu ripoti ya kamati ya masuala ya utawala na usalama kuhusu usaili wa waliopendekezwa kuhudumu kama naibu mwenyekiti na wanachama wa tume ya kuajiri watumishi wa umma. Na msikilizaji, tukirejelea tena yaliyojiri hapo jana ni kwamba wabunge walielezea kuunga mkono hoja ya kuidhinisha ripoti ya kamati ya utangamano wa Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki kuhusu mkataba wa uzinduzi wa teknolojia ya habari na mawasiliano. Wabunge walisema iwapo ripoti hiyo itaidhinishwa, changamoto nyingi za kusafiri na kufanya biashara ambazo zimekuwa zikiwakumba wakazi wa mataifa 6 ya kanda ya Afrika Mashariki zitatatuliwa. Mbunge maalum Godfrey Osotsi alisema hatua hiyo itatoa fursa ya usimamizi bora na ubadilishanaji wa muundo msingi wa teknolojia ya habari na mawasiliano miongoni mwa mataifa wanachama wa Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, jambo alilosema litapunguza gharama ya kufanya biashara. Mbunge wa Endebess Robert Pukose alisema Kenya itanufaika zaidi iwapo ripoti hiyo itaidhinishwa. Wabunge hao ni miongoni mwa wengine kadhaa waliounga mkono hoja hiyo iliyowasilishwa na mbunge wa Samburu Magharibi Naisula Lesuda. Kwa sasa, msikilizaji na mtazamaji, hakuna shughuli inayoendelea katika ukumbi wa bunge, huku wabunge wakisubiriwa kujaza idadi ya kutosha ili kuweza kuanzisha rasmi shughuli zake. Kumbuka mwenyekiti wa tatu wa jopo la spika ameketi tayari.
Order members, order. Honorable members, that the house is properly constituted for purposes of transacting business. So we can start our business.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Papers, we have the paper, Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, December 6th, 2018. Report.
Order, the members who are leaving, please, we have a very serious business to transact. I wish you can... yes, carry on.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Report of the Joint Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock and Trade, Industry and Cooperatives of the study visit to India on BT cotton from 16th to 23rd September 2018. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. The next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, we have several questions and statements. The first question will go to Member Honorable Professor Jacqueline Oduor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to raise question number 164 of 2018 to the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection. A, what action is the Cabinet Secretary taking to ensure that children in need of care and protection are placed in family-based care, such as foster homes, adoption, guardianship, or kinship care, as opposed to children's homes, which have been mushrooming in some cases for reasons that are not in the best interest of children? B, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a list of all duly registered children's homes in the country, indicating their location in terms of constituencies and counties, and whether they are administered by Kenyan nationals or foreigners? C, what policy direction exists in the National Council for Children's Services to safeguard children and ensure they are not stolen, trafficked, or abused by duty bearers and caregivers in hospitals, homes, schools, families, and religious institutions? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. Your question will be replied by, before the Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. I'm sure the chairman is here. Next question. By the member of Tigania West constituency, Honorable Mutunga.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to ask question number 295 of 2018 to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Governments. Is the Cabinet Secretary aware, that's part A, is the Cabinet Secretary aware that National Police Reservists Joel Miriti and Simon Moria from Kadebene and Mumoi locations respectively were killed on 7th of November 2018, and a civilian, Stephen Kailemia from Rwanda location, was killed on 28th of November 2018, while one Jacob Diaine from the same location is nursing gunshot wounds at the Meru General Hospital following a spate of insecurity in Tigania West constituency? Number B, is the Cabinet Secretary further aware that National Police Reserves are ill-equipped and poorly facilitated to effectively perform their duties? Question number C, what measures is the ministry taking to ensure that security is enhanced in Tigania West constituency and that the National Police Reservists and other security agencies in Tigania are well facilitated with vehicles and equipment? Finally, is there any mechanism in place to compensate the National Police Reservists who lose their lives in the line of duty? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Your question to be replied by the Department Committee on Administration and National Assembly. The chair should take note of this. The next question by the Honorable Member for West, Suna West. Is in the House. Honorable Masara Francis. The member being absent from the House, the question is stood down. Next question. The member for Tharaka Nithi County, Honorable Beatrice Mkatha Nyaga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is number 272 of 2018 to the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Youth and Gender Affairs. A, is the Cabinet Secretary aware that over 500 persons who are engaged under the National Youth Service Program to offer various services in the Tharaka Sub-County are yet to be paid their dues totaling to over 27,284,000. B, when does the ministry plan to pay the above monies and what measures are in place to ensure that such delays in payments are avoided? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well, Honorable Nkatha, your question be replied before the Departmental Committee on Lands and Social Welfare. The chairman or the members to take note of that. Next question. The Honorable Member for Embakasi Central, Honorable Benjamin Gathiro. Give him the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to ask question number 279 of 2018 about the Embakasi Central constituency. Is the Cabinet Secretary aware that most public primary schools in Embakasi Central constituency have teacher-people ratio of 1:100 and lack basic facilities such as desks and classrooms? B, what are the measures that the ministry is putting in place to adhere to the recommended teacher ratio of 1:40 and ensure schools are equipped with the necessary facilities? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well, Honorable Member. Your question will be replied for the Committee on Education and Research. Next question by the member for Meru County, Honorable Bishop Kawira Mwangaza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is 283 of 2018 to the Cabinet Secretary for Energy. A, is the Cabinet Secretary aware of numerous complaints against Kenya Power in Meru County relating, among others, low and loose hanging power lines, frequent power outages, defective and broken down transformers, exaggerated inflated power bills, and delays in addressing reported incidents? B, What measures is the ministry taking to ensure that complaints that are addressed urgently and further assure the residents of their safety with regard to defective transformers? C. Could the Cabinet Secretary consider compensating customers for the power surges and the intermittent outages for losses incurred? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well, Honorable Member, Meru County, your question will be replied to the Departmental Committee on Energy. Chair, committee members to take note on this. Next question, the member for Rongo constituency, Honorable Paul Aburo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question, question number 284 of 2018, to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government. A. Is the Cabinet Secretary aware that on 30th November 2018, one Mr. Frederick Onyango Omondi of identification number 3692805, an unarmed youth was shot and killed by police officers in Rongo town? B. What action has the ministry taken against the said police officer, and when will his family be compensated for the loss of his life? C. Could the Cabinet Secretary consider transferring police officers in Kamagamba Police Station in Rongo who have overstayed in that station, and further ensure that the police officers stop the continued harassment and soliciting of bribes from residents of Rongo constituency? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. Your question to be replied to the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. The last question on the order paper, the Honorable Member for Game constituency, Honorable Elisha Odhiambo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to ask question 286 of 2018, directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government. A. Is the Cabinet Secretary aware that the residents of Game constituency are living in fear due to high level of insecurity? B. Is the Cabinet Secretary further aware that several persons have lost their lives in Wagai Market Center and Yala Town, while others have lost property of unknown value in Gotregea, Sirembe, Gongo, and Oseno areas due to insecurity? Could the Cabinet Secretary consider increasing the number of police officers in Yala Police Station, in addition to providing vehicles and other equipment to curb insecurity in Game constituency? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well, very well. Your question will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Very well. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Capital Markets Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2018. Question to be put.
Very well. Honorable members, Committee of the Whole House on this bill was conducted up to the reporting. I order the clerk just confirm whether the House is properly constituted. Honourable members, we were on the putting of the question for adoption, honourable members, and neither put the question to, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. As many as of this opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The mover to move the third reading.
Honorable Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Capital Markets Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2018, be now read a third time. I also request Honorable Chris Wamalwa to second.
Honorable Wamalwa, Chris, to second.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second.
Very well. Honourable members, I propose the question for third reading, which is that the Capital Markets Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2018, be now read a third time. I confirm that the House is properly constituted, and I move to put the question, members, which is that the Capital Markets Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2018, be now read a third time. As many as of this opinion say aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. Remember, as the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Capital Markets Act.
Next one.
Order number 9, motion. Request of the committee, report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Circle Societies Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2018. Question to be put.
Again, honourable members, I move to put the question on this, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Well, as many as are of the opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. The mover to move third reading.
Honorable Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Circle Societies Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2018, be now read a third time. I also request Honorable Chris Wamalwa to second.
Honorable Wamalwa for seconding.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second.
Very well. Members, I propose a question for third reading, which is that the Circle Societies Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2018, be now read a third time. I put the question. I move to put the question on members for third reading, which is that the Circle Societies Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2018, be now read a third time. As many as of the opinion say aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. Honourable members, the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of Parliament to amend the Circle Societies Act 2008.
Next order.
Order number 10, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Assumption of Office of the County Governor Bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2018. Question to be put.
Yeah, the two members, Honorable. Yeah, you can just walk in. The Speaker is with good mood today. Honorable Simba Harati. That one can observe the order, honorable member, order. Members, I move the question for the adoption of the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said reports. As many as of the opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. The mover to move the third reading.
Honorable Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the I beg to move that the Assumption of Office of County Governor Bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2018, be now read a third time. I also request the Vice Chair of the Energy Committee, Honorable Pukose, to second.
Vice Chair, Energy Committee.
Honorable Speaker, I second the third reading of the Senate Bill number 1 of 2018.
Very well. Members, I propose a question for third reading. Order, order, order. You can just resume it. You know, we respect the other agenda. Members, I propose a question for third reading, which is an assumption of the Office of the County Governor Bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2018, be now read a third time. The mood of the House carries, and I move to put the question for the third reading, which is that the assumption of the Office of the County Governor Bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2018, be now read a third time. As many as are of the opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. Honourable members, the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the procedure, ceremony for the assumption of the office of the governor by the governor-elect and for connected purposes.
Very well. Next order.
Order number 11, the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018. Question to be put for second reading.
Members, properly guided and the House is properly constituted, I move to put the question, which is the county allocations, which is that the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018, be now read a second time. As many as are of the opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
A bill for an act of parliament to establish the National Youth Service to provide for its functions, discipline, organization, and administration, and for connected purposes. Order number 12, the County Allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 2018. Second reading.
We have the Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee to move the second reading.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I beg to move that the County Allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 2018, be now read a second time. Honorable Speaker, this County Allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill 2018 follows the amendments that we did earlier this year, rather last month, Honorable Speaker, amendments to the Division of Revenue Act 2018, which was assented to on 5th October 2018. The purpose, Honorable Speaker, of this amendment was the inclusion of the 3.7 billion Kenya shillings additional conditional allocations to counties for the financial year 2018-2019 from three development partners, namely the Government of Sweden, the European Union, and the World Bank. The County Allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill 2018, Bill number 29, Senate Bill number 29 of 2018 proposes to amend the County Allocation of Revenue Act 2018 with the aim of introducing the three more conditional allocations for county governments for the financial year 2018-2019 financed by loans and grants from donors. Honorable Speaker, members, we recall that at the time we did the Division of Revenue Bill, agreements for these grants had not been finalized between the National Treasury and the respective donors. And following the conclusion of those agreements, Honorable Speaker, we moved an amendment bill to the Division of Revenue Bill that brought in this 3.739 billion. And that is what has necessitated our Senate to now do this amendment bill to the County Allocation of Revenue Bill of 2018, which we had done earlier in the year. Honorable Speaker, I don't need to belabor much, but just to point out that the following financial recommendations are what is proposed by this amendment bill. One, that this House approves the amendment of the County Allocation of Revenue Act 2018 to enable the disbursement of Kenya shillings 3.7 billion, 39,453,368 for the following three additional conditional grants to county governments for the financial year 2018-2019. One, a figure of Kenya shillings 1,005,4 453,368 for the Agriculture Sector Development Program 2, ASDP 2. 2, Kenya shillings 880 million for the European Union Water Tower Protection and Climate Change Mitigation and Adaptation Program. 3, Kenya shillings 1,854 million, the IDA World Bank credit for the Kenya Urban Support Project, KUSP, Urban Institutional Grants, UIG, plus balances carried forward from the financial year 2017-2018. Honorable Speaker, the committee therefore recommends that the House adopt this report, passes this amendment bill to the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Amendment Bill number 29 of 2018. Honorable Speaker, from the report that we tabled yesterday, Honorable Speaker, you members will note some of the recommendations that the committee has recommended. One, Honorable Speaker, that the National Treasury and Development Partners to develop a framework to ensure early engagement in signing of contractual agreements for conditional loans and grants to county governments with a view to align it to Kenya's budget process timelines. Honorable Speaker, what we are saying is that since the National Treasury and also our development partners are aware of our budget preparation cycle, they develop a framework, or rather the National Treasury develops a framework where we do not have to keep going back to do amendment bills either to the Division of Revenue Bill or even an amendment bill to this county allocation of revenue because of delayed signing and conclusion of agreements. So they engage and be able to conclude all these agreements for grants and other budgetary support way before the budget process is concluded, to avoid us repeating some of these things often. Two, Honorable Speaker, we have recommended that a framework for assessing the performance of conditional allocations for loans and grants for effective oversight be developed by the National Treasury in consultation with the implementing ministries, departments, and agencies. And definitely, Honorable Speaker, our Senate has a huge role to ensure that indeed they perform their duties in line with their mandate, their constitutional mandate to oversight county governments and ensure that they offer meaningful oversight on the implementation of projects from this grant. This is donor money. A bit of this money, Honorable Speaker, as you will note from the bill, is a credit, there's a credit component, so it's money that we are borrowing that we repay back as much as is a grant component. And Honorable Speaker, we have also recommended that where government is borrowing what the credit component, Honorable Speaker, that this credit component not be used for studies and such things, but most of this money, especially the credit component, goes to real development work, to implement development projects. And therefore, we want to challenge our Senate, Honorable Speaker, that a lot of this money is going to waste in our counties, Honorable Chair, and the Senate has a responsibility to oversight how this money is utilized in our respective counties. At least part of the urban support program, Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, is going to all the 47 counties, except Nairobi and Mombasa counties. And therefore, it will go to roll out development projects, and it will be important for our senators in their respective counties to make sure that they oversight this money, to make sure that it goes to meaningful use and not get misused at the county level. Honorable Chair, I don't want to say, belabor anything more than that, since this is a small bill without any, hopefully without any amendments later, and I beg that we do support this bill, and I want to request the Leader of Majority to second.
The Leader of Majority for seconding.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The county allocation of revenue amendment bill, which is from the Senate, is a bill that is amending the County Allocation of Revenue Act 2018, which this House has passed. And this bill seeks to incorporate the recent amendments that we made as a House to the Division of Revenue Bill Division of Revenue Act 2018, as approved by the House in August of 2018. Madam Speaker, as we look into incorporating and aligning these amendments into the County Allocation of Revenue Act 2018, there are concerns of not adhering to the budgetary process in view of the amendments coming 6 months late after the end of the budget process. So there are concerns in terms of implementation. Honorable members, this slow down the implementation of the approved budget in terms of programs and project delivery, as well as overall absorption capacity. So it's a concern. As we pass here, there's a serious concern that this matter and this donor funding and everything is coming 6 months after we pass the 2018-2019 budget year. Madam Speaker, it's also important to note that the proposed amendment, which is in line with the amended Division of Revenue Act of 2018, increases the total conditional allocation to county governments from 33.24 billion to 36.9 billion, meaning that an overall increase, there is an overall increase in allocation to counties towards implementing key programs and projects at the county level. So what we are doing is we are giving more money to counties, you know, to a tune of about 36 billion extra in the form of conditional grant. So devolution is working, devolution is getting more resources, and more money is being sent to programs and projects, and we hope that the people of Kenya in the 45 counties will get value for this money. However, Madam Speaker, and on account of the report of the Auditor General, there are serious accountability concerns around the utilization of the county expenditure and the public expenditure. Serious accountability concerns. If you look at the Auditor General's report, which has been from the county, which has been tabled in the Senate, there are serious accountability concerns on how the utilization of the county expenditure, and there are serious emerging risks being seen that there's a lot of resources which is being lost at the county level. Indeed, Madam Speaker, most of the indicators, and you are the Vice Chair of the Public Accounts Committee, most of the indicators of the public expenditure and financial accountability point to a very weak fiscal governance structure at the county level. The fiscal structure at the county level, at the treasury, at the county level, at the finance department at the county level, those systems, they look very, very weak in terms of governance. So there is a need for an enhanced oversight, including having a robust monitoring and evaluation framework to safeguard county resources. I think the House can go further through the Budget Committee and the Finance Committee. We can go further and bring amendments to the PFM Act and, you know, put safeguards in order to reduce the pilferage and the wastage of public funds that is taking place at the county level. So we must at all times have a framework to safeguard the county resources, and that again will help us to promote value for many, for the benefit and the welfare of the people of Kenya. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, these resources which we are sending to counties should be utilized to create capacity in asset base, and it must be guided against, again, being employed for non-productive, non-priority, recurrent activities. There's a lot of investment on the resources in the county government which is used for non-priority, non-productive, recurrent expenditures. We have turned the counties into homes for expenditure. Very little development projects are taking place. And I'm sure capacity building workshops are needed that are not, which will have a critical in creating what we call in the budget making process, program-based budgeting. Madam Speaker, in view of the foregoing, it is time we audit and review the public finance management process and ensure that the budget cycle, including the public participation and other best practices, is well integrated for an effective policy design and implementation of the financial systems in our country. I'm sure this is donor-funded, and donors are very, very critical in funding our development projects. They are partners. And based on how these resources are used at the county level is what will set and encourage and motivate the said donors and more other donors, both multilateral and bilateral, to pump more money to our counties. So we really want to ask our governors that the ball is in your court, the money is there upon assent to this law. Please make sure you use the Kenyan taxpayers and also donors. The donors also resources belong to taxpayers from their country. So all the monies that the counties and national government is receiving must be used prudently. I beg to second.
You beg to second. Honourable members, there's two members who are consulting. You can still, maybe you can resume your seat. Same height. Very well, honourable members. I propose a question, which is the County Allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 2018, be now read a second time. I start the requests by the Honourable Member for Kiminini, Honourable Chris Amalo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this County Allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, we know this is coming as a result of the amendment of the division revenue that we had. And Madam Speaker, we know very well that the division of revenue gives a provision for the sharing, the vertical sharing between sharing of the national revenue between the national government and the county. And this bill, Madam Speaker, I think it helps in the horizontal sharing. And as we were told earlier by the chair, it came as a result of the amendment that was made on the division of revenue, whereby it gave a provision of the 3 extra grants. And those were conditional, Madam Speaker, because they were tailored towards agriculture sector, the water sector, and the urban planning. Madam Speaker, as my colleagues have clearly put it, this is the time now the Senate must do a proper follow-up in terms of monitoring and evaluation to ensure that these grants go to the specific conditions that they've been given, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, recently, Nairobi also almost came to a standstill when the governor gave a directive without the proper consultation of the stakeholders. And it was in chaos, Madam Speaker. So these funds, I know they are not going to go to Nairobi and Mombasa, they are going to the 45 counties. It is important, Madam Speaker, that the governors, wherever they are planning their respective towns. It must be done in a proper manner. It is said, Madam Speaker, that failing to plan is planning to fail. And indeed, when you go to our respective counties, you go to the urban areas, Madam Speaker, you find that the planning was done in a very pathetic manner. Madam Speaker, when you look at the big agenda for Jubilee, which talks about the issue of food security, and I'm happy to note that one of the funds here is going towards agriculture. Agriculture, Madam Speaker, is the backbone of the economy of this country. We know very well, Madam Speaker, this country, the agricultural sector, when you look at the Maputo Declaration, where Kenya is a signatory, it talks about the 10% of the revenue going towards agriculture. By now, Kenya, we have never achieved the Maputo Declaration of the 10%, Madam Speaker. So these grants are going to add value as far as the issue of agriculture is concerned. And I speak on behalf of the people from North Rift, Madam Speaker, where we are the ones who feed this country, Madam Speaker. The other day I saw a honorable member on national television saying that why is it that the National Food Security prioritize buying maize as opposed to buying waru? Madam Speaker, and rice for that matter, the staple food in this country is maize. When you go to Northeastern, warriors are taking ugali, Madam Speaker. When you go to Luo Nyanza, they are taking ugali, Madam Speaker. When you go everywhere, everybody, even in Ukambani, is no longer Muthogoi, and Muthogoi is cereals in any case. So you cannot compare maize with potatoes from wherever it comes, Madam Speaker. The National Food Security, Madam Speaker.
Muthoko is also from maize.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to emphasize so that that honorable member, wherever he is, he knows why priority is given to maize, which is a staple food, as opposed to issues of potatoes. And in any case, you can't put potatoes in the strategic food reserve in terms of storage, Madam Speaker. So it's at times common sense. So as the great farmers of Trans Nzoia, who was in Gishu, Bungoma, they cry because of the issues of the cartels in maize. It is something which is serious. Because in this country, even the people coming from European, Madam Speaker, once they stay here in Kenya, their staple food becomes ugali. So ugali is the main staple food across the country. And that's why when it comes to strategic food reserve, maize is given allocation.
Intervention. Honorable Chris Omalo, I know you speak, but you always also learn how to listen. Eh? There's an intervention by the Honorable Ichungwa Kimani, member for Kikuyu.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, I'm sorry to, and I don't want to interrupt Honorable Chris Omalo when he's contributing to this bill, because it's a very important bill, especially to the counties. But is Honorable Chris Omalo in order? One, he's completely gone off tangent on the matter before the House. Two, is he in order to be misleading the nation that you cannot have potatoes in the strategic grain reserve in a day and age where Honorable Chris Omalo, being a well-schooled person, knows that you can dry potatoes, you can get technology to install coolers and be able to store potatoes as part of our strategic grain reserve. And is he also in order to keep emphasizing, and I'm sure he is from Trans Nzoia, so he may have a very strong point on maize, but my honorable colleague who is seated behind me, the member of parliament from where Ahero, in Nyanza, where there is rice. Honorable Speaker, mine was on relevance, one, and two, whether Chris Omalo is in order to be misleading the House on issues to do with food security that is only about maize.
Chris Omalo, I'm sure that is the line of argument, and I'm sure when the mover was moving still, and you seconded, and I mean you were the moving, you'd had that chance also to speak about. But anyway, relevance, please. Yes, let's not dwell on the, I know it's about rice, it's about potatoes, about maize. Please allow. You have an important issue? Yes. Maybe you can enrich, it's an issue you can enrich, Chris.
Thank you. Yeah, this again goes to my senior, Chris, who is my mentor. Madam Speaker, in the thinking of Chris, something happened in this country. In the year 2015, a legal notice was passed, legal notice number 15 of 2015, to implement the Strategic Food Reserve Trust Fund. But it turned out to be an implementation of a strategic...
Okay, Honorable Wachira Kabinga, you are sound in your argument, but the wrong timing. Because you'd have risen on a point of order, or maybe a point to inform Honorable Chris Omalo, and Honorable Chris Omalo, if he accepts your information, I think that is an information. But I'm sure you, when you get your time to speak, you can be able to, unless something was out of order, and I'm sure you'll get your time to argue on such a... This is a out of debate, and thank you. Yes, Honorable Chris Omalo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in terms of relevance, one of the conditional grants is on agriculture. And you must understand the context where I'm coming from. Of course, when you talk of maize, it is agriculture. And this is as per the conditional grant. So I've broken it down. I'm trying to cascade downwards, Madam Speaker. And in terms of stability, I never mentioned anywhere that potatoes or rice should not be in the strategic food grain, food reserve. The issue, Madam Speaker, here, we are talking about the issue of...
this point of order.
In terms of...
Let's hear the senior member for Kitui Central. He really raises on...
You know, I think I raise on a point of order in terms of misinformation. I think Chris is a well-schooled person. When you say agriculture...
Yes, speak closer to the mic.
When you say agriculture is equal to maize, I get concerned. I get concerned, Madam Speaker, and I think it's important. It's important, is in order to mislead Kenyans that agriculture is equal to maize.
Agriculture is equal to maize. Chris Wamalwa, maybe your English, but that is all.
Madam
They
Speaker,
may not understand
listening,
what you mean, but that's your point of argument anyway.
It's equal. I say cascade. You know, cascading is different from equal. You know, when you talk of cascade, and I'm requesting Honorable Makali Mulu to be a good listener, I never said it's equal. I started by saying the conditional grant here is agriculture. So we are breaking down. When it
But
comes
given
to
where
agriculture,
Chris comes from, anyway, more
so
members
some
are not
things
going to
are
allow these other
inconsequential.
interventions. Given where Chris comes from, when he says equal, please just fire your English and you move on. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. Yeah.
So even standing orders, some of the standing orders you're raising, they're immaterial. It's wasting time. It must be of significance. So you can't come and say, as I said equal, I say cascading. So when you talk of cascading, Madam Speaker, the simple English Oxford Dictionary, you cascade. You are breaking down from the apex. You're talking of agriculture. You are cascading down. So what that it means? You know, my brother is an economist, but no English at times is difficult to some economists. So you should do the listening. So when you talk of agriculture, I was breaking it down. So I said maize, rice, potatoes. But in terms of stability in this country, the consumption of ugali, the percentage consumption is actually higher. And we are talking about the share of the pocket. When you talk about the share of the pocket, we are breaking down in terms of household foods. We have ugali, we have rice, we have kideri, whatever. So when you break down the percentage share of the pocket, you find that ugali constitutes a higher percentage. And that's why I was trying to contextualize what the other honorable member had mentioned, that you cannot compare ugali and the issues of potatoes. Because ugali, in terms of stability, the share of the pocket, it's a higher percentage. So it goes without saying that for stability, for food security of this country, we must focus where the share of the pocket is higher. And that's why I was qualifying maize, and that's what you are saying. The government must put more investments as far as the production of maize is concerned. And that's why we are talking about things like subsidized fertilizer becoming very critical as we move on. Of course, we do know that the strategic food reserve, and we had discussed that they should prioritize other types of foods. We never said it shall be 100% maize, Madam Speaker. So I want to put it correct. And we are calling upon our senators, because we know agriculture is a devolved function. And right now, as we speak, Madam Speaker, our governors, wherever they are, they must prioritize matters of agriculture. The honorable member for Meru, Honorable Bishop Mwangaza, I saw she has a very good motion in terms of trying to sensitize the youth so that they can go into agricultural. Because we know very well students, when they finish university, they want to look for other jobs. They don't want to go into agriculture. And if we can have good incentives, Madam Speaker, and right now when we get more investments in the agricultural sector, it actually provides employment. Because we know the stability of this country as far as contribution to our economy, it is actually agricultural based. And Madam Speaker, as we appreciate these grants, we are looking at the issue of monitoring and devolution. And this is where our senators come in. And we are calling upon our senators, wherever they are, because their core mandate as per the Constitution, they are supposed to handle matters to do with the counties. So this is where they should be able to focus. And we appreciate the grants because, Madam Speaker, they are contributing towards the Big Four agenda of Jubilee. And as in NASA, because of the handshake, Madam Speaker, we are fully supporting. And we do know that food security plays a very critical role as far as the security of any country, Madam Speaker, it is concerned. And the issue of the division of revenue, Madam Speaker, I think we've been having a lot of differences. And it's the highest time we should be able to amend that particular section of the Constitution So that the issues of wastage of time, when the bill goes to the Senate, there were those issues sometimes back of going into mediations, and you know when it delays, it follows without saying, it also delays the county allocation revenue. And Mr. Speaker, we've just been debating on the issue of the contract bill, which I think we have already finalized. It is on the way to State House for purposes of assenting. It's a very, very important bill, Madam Speaker. And when we were discussing that, there was an issue of the provision of the funds. Then there was this issue of the procurement. Then there was, after the issue of procurement, and we said, in line with the PFM Act, Madam Speaker, there's a regulation which says that for you to be able to budget for, to procure, that must be a provision of that particular funding. And for those of us who sit in the oversight committees, you'll agree with me, Madam Speaker, and yesterday we agreed very well, though we were defeated. I'm sure you remember. So maybe we'll revisit that matter, because whatever we discuss is already provided for in the Public Procurement Act and also in the PFM regulation. So we cannot be duplicating things as we move on. But I'm calling upon honorable members to support this particular amendment that has come so that we can move with speed, and we are seeing the counties are working because more money is being devolved to the counties. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I support.
Very well spoken. And the next is the member. Let's now hear the member from where, then you can prosecute your issues.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support this bill, and as I do so, I just want to let my brother, Honorable Amora, know that with the challenges we have with the maize production in this country, many people are now turning to rice. We are researching on how to do porridge from rice and also to do ugari from rice. So we are moving on. Madam Speaker, I really want to support this bill, and more so knowing very well that our devolution is working and we are devolving more resources to our counties, Madam Speaker. And even as I do so, I would want to commend our national government for providing the necessary environment that has enabled many development partners to invest heavily in this country. Madam Speaker, the distribution of resources by development partners is assumed to be kind of independent, in the sense that development partners decide where to put in their money. But having worked with a development partner myself, Madam Speaker, I do know that there is some influence in the distribution of those resources, even at the development partner level. It is therefore important, Madam Speaker, that even as we pass these bills, even as we do resource distribution to, or rather approve the resource allocation to our counties, it's always good, and it's good, and I would urge the committee on budget to ensure that we compare, or rather we look at what we are allocating from our national kit vis-a-vis what is coming from the development partners. I say this, Madam Speaker, because I've gone through this report, and when I look at the allocations, I'm surprised that some areas like agriculture, the climate smart agriculture, for example, I noticed that my county is missing in that particular allocation, yet this is a county that is agriculture rich, and I would have expected that there would be something. I also notice, Madam Speaker, that when it comes to urban development, whereas some counties got under 50 million, we have counties getting over 1 billion. If I go to the ministry, to Kenya Rural Urban Roads, Madam Speaker, I may find that the same counties have the greater share. They have a great share when it comes to development partners. They have a great share when it comes to our own development kit, and this will cause us a lot of disparity at the wrong land, Madam Speaker. I've always argued that we need to relook at the resource allocation in our country, Madam Speaker, because I also notice that some of the counties that benefit more from development partners Are the same counties we are looking at the equalization fund, are the same counties that are classified as ASO areas, and therefore they get all these resources converging. And this is at the expense of some of the counties, Madam Speaker. I've further argued in the past that even the way we are allocating our own CDF to constituencies that have under three wards, when I have in Mwea 8 wards, is still not fair, Madam Speaker. And so I am hoping, even as we look at these bills, resource allocation in this country, we need to look at what we are doing. We need to look at how resources are being allocated to ensure that in future we do not create another problem as we have always had. We have talked of marginalized counties, Madam Speaker, but we are now coming up with a neo-marginalization that is caused by our own ways and methods of allocation of resources in this country. And therefore, Madam Speaker, as I support this bill, I would urge the Senate and the Budget Committee to be more interested in understanding how some of these resources from development partners and our own kit are matched so that we don't cause this disparity. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I would want to again urge our Budget Committee to be very interested in knowing how some of these projects are implemented out there. This is a lot of money. Part of it is grant. Another part is in form of loans. This country is going to pay this money. It's not free money. And if we are going to do so, then there must be a very serious mechanism of ensuring that the money that goes to the county, whether it is from the development partners or from our own kit at the national government level, is followed up by a serious monitoring and evaluation program so that we are able to advise even our development partners to put in the DORA where it will have some positive effect in our country. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I want to support and urge again that we relook at resource allocation in this area, in this country. Until recently, and as my brother who have just left did say, we have been allocating money from strategic reserve only to maize. And it took me time to discover the legal notice number 15 of 2015 that included other types and other farm commodities. And that's when we started engaging with the ministry that we need to extend that particular allocation to these other commodities, Madam Speaker. It has taken more than 3 years since 2015. We have not been benefiting on the same. Our farmers have been suffering, and so we hope that all these things will be corrected so that in future I do not continue crying as a member of parliament representing over 200,000 people, representing 8 wards compared to other constituencies that have under 50,000 people and probably 3 wards or less. Madam Speaker, I support.
Very well, very well. That's a huge representation, and I'm sure your argument for such will be in place. Member for Funyula.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity to make a comment on the counter allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 2018. On the onset, let me record my support for the bill, and let me go on record that the best thing that has ever happened to this country has been devolution. It is something that we fought for many years, so that we have devolution to enable us get resources to the ground near where people are and where we can understand the challenges and difficulties affecting our people. Madam Speaker, as much as we have pumped a lot of funds and resources into devolution, there is a growing feeling that quite a number of these resources are not having the multiply effect expected from this kind of resources. It's therefore a call to the nation to to the country as a whole, that we now must train our eyes, ears, and all our efforts towards the utilization of these funds at the county levels. We have had so many cases of misuse or underuse of resources that are devolved to the county governments. Madam Speaker, I want to echo what my colleagues have said, the issue of monitoring and evaluation. And I want to urge the Senate and the county assemblies that the fate of the people of Kenya depends on devolution. The fate of the people of Kenya depends how effectively do we use these resources. I want to urge the Senate, I want to urge the county assemblies that they should not belittle or shun their oversight role. They need to continuously put the county governments, the governors, the executive members, and all the executives at their various levels under serious scrutiny so that we allow resources to reach where it ought to. We should not have cases where most of the resources are plundered at the executive level and they do not go to the ground where they are supposed to be. Madam Speaker, we have had so many reports by the Auditor General that have actually given a very negative assessment on the utilization of funds. In this country, many people believe it's only a few counties that have effectively used devolved resources. It is commonly mentioned Makueni, and the rest are just bystanders. They are known to have plundered resources. In my county of Busia, we have so many challenges. We hope these funds, these additional funds, will assist us solve the chronic problems of water, the poor state of our medical facilities, the poor state, the low intervention by the county government in respect of agriculture, because our people of Busia do not have anything else other than agriculture. I want to urge the Senate, and that's my senator, plus the MCAs in the Busia County Assembly, to really sit down and relook at how things can move and work properly. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
No debate. Next on my request list is a member for Kitui Central. Yes, Dr.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me also state clearly that I'm supporting this amendment to the Counter Allocation of Revenue Act. Madam Speaker, it has been said many times that the reason we are doing this is because our development partners have provided additional funds to the tune of 3.74 billion to be used by the county governments. What that implies, Madam Speaker, is that we have to change the CARA now that we have already changed the Division of Revenue Act, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, these resources are in form of grants. Most of the resources actually is a very small component which is a loan, and most of the resources are grants. And I think as a country, it's important we appreciate this kind of support because we are all talking about public debt, which is becoming unmanageable in this country. And the advantage of grants is that grants are more of our friendly donations, which will not be paid. But at the end of the day, they will assist our people in terms of agriculture, which has been stated, in terms of development of the so-called municipalities, the former municipalities, in terms of infrastructural development, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, generally, I think this is a good amendment, and really we need to support it. But I think we need to make also a number of observations, Madam Speaker. One of the key observations, and it was stated, is that in terms of timing, I think the reason we are doing all this amendment is because in terms of timing, when you look at the budget cycle and look at what point we are signing these agreements, there is a disconnect. And I think we need to urge, as a House, we need to urge Treasury, which provides the leadership in terms of signing these agreements with our development partners, to ensure that, since they also oversee the budget cycle in terms of timelines, that to ensure that the two processes are harmonized, that anytime they sign agreements with the development partners, the timing is right, so that we don't have to do these amendments every year. So I think while we appreciate what we are doing now, I think in the future, it is important that Treasury harmonizes the process so that it will just pass CARA and it moves on. The other point, Madam Speaker, which is important, I think is important for members to note, is the issue of these grants which are going to the county governments, and what is happening, for example, for the agricultural sector grant is supposed to be overseen in terms of implementation by the crop department at the ministry headquarters. And I think while we are saying it is good that senators and county assemblies oversight the use of these resources, while it is good that we are saying we need a M&D framework, monitoring evaluation framework, for purposes of monitoring this, to me, I think there's a bit of what I would call a gray area. A gray area in that, Madam Speaker, while it's very clear that money which go to counties through CARA and they're directly, they direct to counties just straight from the exchequer, it is easier for Senate and the county assemblies to monitor. But where resources go through departments in the ministry headquarters, then the gray area, Madam Speaker, is I don't think we have a continuous line between the Senate and the MDS at the in Nairobi setup. And so long as there's not that continuous line or dotted line, where departments in Nairobi could easily account for resources which are going to the county, to the Senate, then that's an area we really as Kenyans need to think through. Because then it means automatically, the Senate might not have that really direct oversight of such resources. And then they are at the mercy of the departments in terms of release of money and use of the money. And I think that's where the issue of the accountability comes in. I've heard Majority Leader talk about accountability. I've heard my Chair Budget talk about accountability. But Madam Speaker, I want to remind Kenyans that even as you talk about accountability at the county level, let's remember that the counties only got about 300 billion. And the rest of the money out of a budget of 3.07 trillion is in Nairobi. So I think accountability must be mainstreamed. Madam Speaker, it is very hurting when you see just one department or one parastatal, we are talking about expenditure of about misuse or misdirection of resources of about 7 billion. One department, or one parastatal, Madam Speaker. And you ask yourself, very few counties are getting to the tune of 7 billion in this country. Very few. Most of them are getting to less than 6 billion, 7 billion. So even as we talk about accountability at the county level, which I support fully, I think time has come, Madam Speaker, where as Kenyans we need to think about what is it really we want as Kenyans. Because to me, I strongly believe this country has enough resources, Madam Speaker, to meet our needs. It's only this issue of misdirection, misapplication, and corruption issues. And even when you look at the report by PAC, which is one of our committees, Madam Speaker, it is just attesting to the same issue, misapplication of resources. And Madam Speaker, you are deputy of PAC, so you know what I'm talking about. So to me, even as we blame the county governments, I think it's like saying, as you point a finger to the county governments, the other four are pointing to us who are at the national level. And I think it's important that both houses, the National Assembly and the county assemblies, come up with very innovative ways of oversighting the departments and the county governments. Because unless we do that, Madam Speaker, we'll keep on releasing resources year in, year out, and I don't think we'll get value for money. So even as I support this, because it's important, Madam Speaker, I think the issue is really, we have a huge budget, and I've said many times, Madam Speaker, the issue is not how big is your budget. The issue is how are you able to implement the budget you put in place. Because even if we are a 10 trillion budget and we don't implement, it's as good as zero. We would change anybody's life. So to me, I think the challenges Kenyans need to take up, and the challenge of implementers, who are MDAs and the county governments, is that please make sure we make use of the money we have been allocated, apply that money to the most productive sectors, so that we change the lives of Kenyans. And unless we do that, this will become a talk show. We keep on talking, Madam Speaker, and personally I hate the idea of talking and no implementation. So I want to support this as we move forward, Madam Speaker, and say really, it's time as Kenyans we said enough is enough, and we started implementing projects as budgeted. We started demanding for accountability, and we all support our president, who seems to be really in the right direction, but I think we are seeing some signs of people derailing that direction. And really I get concerned, Madam Speaker, when I see parastatals becoming senders of corruption. Anytime you look at any Kenyan print media, Madam Speaker, it is annoying. Very early in the morning, you look at the paper and you say, am I a Kenyan? No, what am I doing in this country really? Because the first page, this scandal is about to come, this scandal is about to come, and you read the first 3-4 pages of our newspaper, it's so about scandals. You ask yourself, there's nothing in this country good to be reported on. And to me, it really concerns me. And I think the time has come, Madam Speaker, when we will, as a House, we'll appropriate resources to the counties and government departments, but as a House, we'll also demand accountability. And I think people who are implementing projects, they better do their work the way it should be done, Madam Speaker. With those remarks, I support.
Well spoken. The member for Moyale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me say that I also support the county allocation of revenue amendment bill, in that it actually supports the big 4 agendas, which will enable creation of employment and affordable houses. Madam Speaker, devolution is actually very, very key in Kenya at the moment, and particularly for the counties that have been dragging behind in the past. Agriculture, for example, livestock is part of agriculture. And in most of these counties, including Marsabit, Wajir, and the rest, previously, we are not allocating enough resources. Remember, Madam Speaker, actually livestock contribute 10 to 12% of GDP to this country. And beside that, and even after the Maputo Declaration, which actually indicates that 10% of agriculture, of any national budget should go to agriculture. Even after devolution, this Maputo Declaration has not been actually considered down at the county level. We are still seeing actually cases where in Wajir, in these arid counties, in Marsabit, we are still allocating less than 10% of our budget to livestock, where actually the mainstay of pastoralists is livestock, or they depend on livestock. And Madam Speaker, this bill actually also considers monitoring and evaluation. So mine is actually to request the senators who are actually supposed to play an opposite role to take their time and ensure that this additional grant, which are going to be given to the counties, is actually utilized in a manner that is going to actually assist our people to live a better life, to have access to water, roads, and ensure that the loopholes that actually most of the counties use to reallocate resources once the resources are released from the national government or from the development partners is really not followed this time, so that this money can actually assist especially the marginalized counties or areas to develop livestock sector, for example, water sector, so that these counties can actually have food security or be food secure in near future. So, Madam Speaker, with all those few comments, I support the bill. Thank you.
Well, the member representing the people of Moyale. The next was my request list. I'm sure the other agenda is just there. The member for Tigania West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this bill, to the adoption of this bill. Madam Speaker, the county allocation of revenue.
And the member is Honorable Mutunga for Tigania West.
Yeah, Tigania West, Madam Speaker. I sought an intervention, Madam Speaker, when they were making...
Machakos.
they were counter-accusing each other, and I think it would have helped because I come from agriculture's background, and I would have informed those discussions. Madam Speaker, maybe I could start with that. We used to have strategic grain reserve in this country. Instead of strategic food reserve, we realized at a point in time, in 2015, that we needed to include other foods, not just maize or wheat or rice. And therefore, the country changed to strategic food reserve. These days, we even keep milk. And I think the country is moving towards a lot more of diversification other than promotion of production of maize, even in areas where it doesn't do well. Madam Speaker, if I may put one point on maize, I think it is a point in time when we should look at other crops. And I think potato is a very, very important crop in this country. I think it's the most consumed crop, if we may look at what is the most consumed food. But it may not have had the kind of recognition because we don't make a lot of noise on potatoes, and probably we have not done enough. This particular funding we are talking about today comes in to sort out some of those issues. I want to speak to Agricultural Sector Development Program 2. The ASDSP 2 comes in after ASDSP 1. ASDSP 1 was basically organizing agricultural extension and agricultural value chains. But in ASDSP 2, there's a lot more. Madam Speaker, without passing this amendment, the 3.73 billion shillings will not be availed to the development of this country through the 3 programs that we are discussing today. Some of them are not necessarily in agriculture, and I can see we are talking about agriculture a lot. Others are in other areas. Madam Speaker, agriculture is majorly devolved, as many of the speakers who have spoken before me have said. Being majorly devolved, it means this money will be spent at the counties, most of it. The money for Agricultural Sector Development Program will go to do specific things within the counties. It is equally divided across the counties. They have set up systems and procedures for utilization of this money, being a bilateral arrangement between the Kenyan government and the Swedish government. There has been intensive discussions before we can come up with this particular program, and the particular program is named Agricultural Sector Development Program, which comes in to implement the agricultural sector development strategy, which is the strategy that has called for the organization of agriculture for commercialization and also manufacturing. Madam Speaker, the National Treasury has been involved all the way in the design and development of this program with the Mother Ministry. And therefore, during the design and development, there's a serious consultation. I want to allay to the fears of most of the members who have spoken about misappropriation of this fund. There are very few chances of misappropriating this fund because it is very well designed, it is very well discussed in terms of putting it to specific activities, funding specific activities in different counties, and therefore realizing these activities and having a clear monitoring and evaluation program which basically checks what is being coming out of the implementation and whether it is in line with what is required. So discussions go on at the design stage, discussions go on at the implementation stage, discussions go on even at the audit stage, post-implementation of the program itself. Madam Speaker, most of these monies are grants. Even if it is a grant, there is also cost for Kenyan government to be called into play when it comes to bilateral funding, and therefore there is counterpart funding. When you look at the ASDSP2 money, it comes purely as a grant. And this grant comes in to reorganize the agricultural sector so that it can be in line, especially with the Big Four, for purposes of trying to increase production and productivity in various areas, and then aggregate these products and cause manufacturing or transformation to, even if it is primary transformation, which is part of manufacturing that we are looking at in the Big Four. So this money is necessary to be released to the counties. Unfortunately, when we were passing the county allocation bill, the discussions around these particular provisions had not been finalized, because discussions go all the way to the negotiation, and also there is the signing of the agreement. So those ones were not yet completed. Madam Speaker, if I may very briefly elaborate what exactly this fund is doing. The fund in agriculture is basically identifying what are the core endemic areas in this particular country, which are the core potential areas for various products to be produced, in line with the diversification, because our reliance on maize is catastrophic. We cannot say that we will have to eat maize in order to have food on the table. We have to look for cassava, especially cassava, Madam Speaker. Right now, cassava has been identified to have vitamin B17, which is a precursor for, which is counter-carcinogenic. It kills the cancer cells. So it is important for even Kenyans to know that if you eat a little bit of cassava, you are a little bit more unlikely to have cancer than you would if you are eating any other food. So we are bringing in diversification. We are trying to promote various production of various products, and that's what this program is doing. Madam Speaker, the program basically identifies what is supposed to be done where, and then tries to interpret the value chain stages that this particular product can go through, and they support interpretation of the specific stage or segment details. If it is at the point of input or before production, you look at where do we get the germplasm, or where do we get the material for planting. Are we going to do some research for us to be able to produce this material? And if we are going to do research, where shall we do this research, and how will it permeate across the country so that it can be utilized appropriately? When it comes to production, we have to check which areas are the most potential in terms of endemism, which areas are most suited for production of specific crops, specific livestock products. And when it comes to aggregation, which is something that has been missing in this country, the only form of management of products, agricultural products in this country is through the National Cereals and Produce Board, which was established as a grain management system. We need to look at how do we also manage aggregation of potatoes, how do we manage aggregation of onions, how do we manage aggregation of other products like oranges, like bananas and others. In some parts of this country, we produce a lot of bananas, and that's also a serious food crop, that we can basically promote for strategic food reserve. All the foods that we produce can be dried and kept for very many years. Even milk, we keep powdered milk. We don't keep milk in raw form. And that is what this program is doing. So this program goes further to try and interpret how can we do how can we do processing? How can we change the form in terms of adding value? Shall we reduce the amount of water? Shall we do grinding, if it is flour production like maize flour, or shall we do transformation that leads to extraction? So in this case, it presupposes various types of industries to be established in various parts of this country. So the Big Four agenda can easily be fit in terms of food and nutrition security within the arrangement of this particular program, and also can be supported in terms of transformation or industrialization, where we are looking at setting up various manufacturing plants which will basically benefit from the different products that can come up as raw materials. And that's one of the things that we've not been able to do as a country. We cannot clearly and confidently declare the quantities that we produce in various areas of this country. Therefore, we cannot even promote establishment of various industries in various parts of this country, because we do not know what amount of potatoes we produce in Meru. We don't know what amount of bananas we produce in Kisii. We only know we produce bananas. So what I would call upon, Madam Speaker, is the ministry to become specific in data acquisition, data verification, and data management, so that we can be data-based in terms of our planning, so that we know we are producing so many tons of green grams in Kambani. And therefore, we can set up a factory to manufacture something from those green grams. And that is how we can cause industrialization in this country. Otherwise, we cannot cause it. What other countries did, Madam Speaker, is that there are various forms of agrarian reforms. And I hope this ASMP2 can lead towards agrarian reforms. We have other efforts like
We have a minute.
Okay. We have other forms of efforts like what we call the AGRA, the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa. When it comes to a revolution, you have to be extremely thorough, you have to mobilize adequately, and I don't think that is what is happening. So we are calling upon other efforts to do that. Madam Speaker, I support, but I would like to very briefly add that we had a Maputo Declaration which ended in 2013. That Maputo Declaration, we did not meet it. It transformed into Malabo Declaration. And even Malabo Declaration, we are doing extremely poorly. Madam Speaker, the more money we put in agriculture, the more we are focused to growth and development in this country. I support.
You do support. The chairperson, Department or Committee on Lands.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for
And
giving...
the member for Kitui South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support this amendment, which is looking at inclusion of more funds, which are coming from various development partners that are supporting our country, and looking at these countries that have usually been very useful in pulling together with our country. I would like to say that I see lots of money being pushed towards agriculture, towards climate change, among others. And I would like to say that this is in recognition to the President's and the Deputy President's Jubilee agenda. And I would like to start by appreciating that other countries are looking at it positively and giving us funding. Honorable Speaker, I would like to start with the agricultural sector, which seems to have given a very good chunk of this money. And I would like to say that as we focus on other crops that exist in other parts of the country, which we highly appreciate, that is maize, among others, I would like to bring the debate of the ndengu. That is a very serious crop among the semi-arid areas of our counties, Kitui.
You said the debate for? You said the debate for what?
I would like to relate this to the fact that we have a crop that seems not to have been recognized in the as a strategic grain in the country. And I know that a lot of proposals have been brought up.
I know she said the ndengu.
Yes, ndengu.
Is there an English word in ndengu?
Green grams. And I would like to call it another name that is common because people are referring their crops by their names. Ndakithi. This is a very important crop in our country.
Honorable, Ndakithi is also the ndengu. You know where she comes from. But I know she has already spoken where she comes from. I know that, yeah. Thank you. Carry on.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. I know that this matter touching on dengue also touches on Kibwezi. And I just want to say that I know a lot has been said. The President has spoken, the Deputy President has spoken. The other day, Raila Odinga was speaking about inclusion of ndengu as a strategic grain for this country. I would like to say that it will be so good to just go beyond the statements and see 300 million, 500 million being put to the farmers whose ndengu is rotting in our stores today. Because there is a lot of discussion about maize, that National Cereal and Produce Board is not doing its job very well. But who is talking about the ndengu in Kitui? I wanted that to come out and to ask that the Budget Committee, as they discuss other things, kindly speak for us on this matter, and I would like to say that it's a debate that needs to be pulled up. Honorable Speaker, I know that as members of Parliament, we keep moving from department to department, writing letters, talking about what we need. And I would like to give an example of Kitui and Machakos and Makueni, the fact that these counties are semi-arid. But when you look at the budget for water that is going to these counties, it is still minimal. I was looking at the budget for water, and I saw that they are focusing on Umadam in Kitui. But the fact is that Kitui has 40 wards. My own constituency, Kitui South, has 6 wards of a large coverage of land, massive land, with over 200 primary schools. I do not think there is a member of Parliament in this House who has over 200 primary schools and 70 secondary schools, and a very high population. And because I do not see the hope of this constituency being divided into 2. And also when I look at the sharing formula for our constituencies, where we are now getting an equal share for all constituencies, whether you have 2 wards or 3 wards, or 8 wards like the ones that I have, and more than 200 primary schools, and 70 secondary schools, then I think that it is important for Treasury, when they are sharing funds, especially the grants, to also consult with the ministries, because there is that disconnect between Treasury and the departments and the ministries and departments, so that they can see what are the issues that the members of Parliament are raising, and what issues can be handled through these grants and loans that we get. As I say that, I would like to appreciate that for once, Kitui as a county has a very big loan of 18 billion for Kitui-Kibwezi Road that has really touched the lives of people in so many counties. As I say this, I would like to add that though the Honorable Dr. Makali has left, he has brought a very important matter of monitoring and evaluation. There is no way we can monitor and evaluate without starting with getting a proper framework which is linked to the funding that is being given. I appreciate that this time monitoring and evaluation has been taken seriously for all the projects, but I would like to say that it is extremely important to get a framework with very good outputs and very good deliverables that will be followed here. Honorable Speaker, I would also like also to go to the issue of misconduct. We know that a lot of money is going to our counties. And Honorable Speaker, I would like to boldly say that many counties may not be giving us back what they are getting from the national government. When you look at the funds that we are getting and the output that is coming out of it, it is extremely important for the Senate to know that we are relying on them. We are relying on the senators and we are relying on our MCAs. They need to know that the role that they've been given is not to be nice to the governors, but they need to know that they are there to make sure that the funds that have been given from the national government, from the grants and from the loans, they trickle down to their wards. And every MCA must be responsible. They must respond to the questions that have been raised by the common wananchi, who send us to the National Assembly, who send us to the Senate, who send us to the county assemblies, that they must be answerable, because funds are trickling down to the counties. But the question is, are the services also trickling down to the common wananchi that is receiving, that is supposed to receive these donations, these funds that are coming from the national government? Honorable Speaker, the sharing formula looks very nice at the service when you look at it, and when you look at the statements that are put there, they look very good. But when you go deeper into how much money is going to every county, I would like to say that there are counties that are highly favored. You find that they are getting very good share from the national cake. Then when it comes to grants, they also get a higher and higher share. Then when it comes also to the loans that we know that we are paying for the whole country, everybody gets a share of this loan, they also get higher. I would like to ask the Budget Committee also to look at that, so that the 14 counties that have been identified as the special counties that have been targeted, then they should also benefit from the grants and the loans. So this is something that I would like to say, that the same counties should not keep getting more and more. Honorable Speaker, as I sit, I would like to say that it is important to note that devolution is the best thing that happened to this country. We are seeing things that we never used to see before, but would like to say that let the development that should be on the ground be commensurate to the amount of money that is coming from the national government, because we can see the funds that are going to our counties are not meant for specific wards where the leaders are coming from. They should be distributed to all areas within the counties without favorism. And I'm speaking generally, not only about my county in Kitui, but about all the counties in the country. Honorable Speaker, I appreciate for the opportunity that you have given me to speak on this motion. Thank you.
Very well, for speaking with a lot of passion. Now I understand, honorable members, when she refers to dengue, it's where we call it, it's green grams. The member for Mwatate, Honorable Mwadime Andrew.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa hii fursa. Mwanzo kabisa naamka kuunga mkono haya marekebisho. Kilimo ni miongoni mwa vitendo ambavyo viko rohoni kwa majimbo zote za Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, ugatuzi ni kitu ambacho Wakenya walipigania, na ugatuzi tumeona maendeleo yake. Ingawaje kuna doadoa hapa na pale kwa sababu ya rushwa na nini, lakini Wakenya wengi bado ugatuzi umewasaidia zaidi. Isipokuwa tu katika ugavi wa huu mgao ambao kwa sasa hivi tunatumia, kidogo huko na dosari. Maana nikiangalia kuna majimbo kutoka tangu tupate uhuru mwaka wa 1964 bado hawana maji. Na ukiangalia katika majimbo mengine wana maji ya kutosha ya kunywa, tena huku wanafanyia unyunyuzi kwa mashamba yao, na wengine hata ya kunywa ni matatizo. Kwa mfano kule kwangu Mwatate, watu maji ya kunywa ni tatizo. Hata yale maji yanachimbwa kwa visima mengi kwa sababu ya madini hayako masafi kwa wananchi kuyatumia. Ugavi, hapo ndio kuna tatizo katika majimbo yetu. Ndio naomba Senate wajaribu kuangalia mfumo wa ugavi, wajaribu kubadilisha. Maana tukisema ati mahali kuna idadi wengi ndio hela zinaelekea nyingi, manake kuna county, kuna majimbo ambaye yana watu kidogo lakini majimbo makubwa na barabara ni zile zile. Sasa ukiwapatia hela kidogo, utaona kwamba majimbo mengine wanaendelea zaidi hata kuliko majimbo mengine. Sasa hivi nilikuwa naangalia hii rununu yangu, alafu ukiniruhusu WhatsApp, naona mmoja alikuwa na comment, usifananishe maendeleo ya Taita Taveta na Kitui County. Usitofautishe maendeleo ya Taita Taveta na Kwale County. Lakini ukiangalia ugavi wa Kwale na ugavi wa Kitui ni kubwa kuliko Taita Taveta. So huwezi fananisha maendeleo ya haya majimbo mengine na majimbo ambayo yanapata hela kidogo. Haswa Taita Taveta, manake ni jimbo liko kubwa, linataka hela nyingi. Mfumo ungetengenezwa ukao kwamba kama ni madawa, mahali kuna watu wengi, basi Senate wangetengeneza madawa kwa ile jimbo liko na watu wengi, wanapelekewa pesa nyingi za madawa. Lakini kama jimbo liko kubwa, kwa upande kama ni wa barabara, wanapatiwa hela nyingi kuliko majimbo mengine. Sasa hapo ndio kuna tatizo. Lakini kwa ule kweli ni maendeleo, maana ni hatua tumepiga mpaka sasa hivi. Hata mgao ambao unapeana sasa hivi, maana kilimo kwa kweli kila jimbo la Kenya wako na kilimo. So kuboresha kilimo ni sawasawa na kuboresha maisha ya Wakenya. Kwa sasa hivi utakuta hata zile za serikali, utakuta kwamba ukienda katika ile shirika linapeana mgao sawa, ukienda za barabara utakuta bado hela pale, yale majimbo yanapata hela nyingi, bado hela nyingi ndio zinazidi kupelekwa kwao, na zile zinapata mgao kidogo ndio wanazidi kuumia. So Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga haya marekebisho, naunga mkono, lakini Senate wajaribu kufikiria njia mwafaka ambayo inaweza saidia majimbo yote ya Kenya yawe sawa. Kwa hii nafasi, Mheshimiwa Spika, nashukuru kwa kunipa hii fursa. Asante sana.
The Honorable Atandi. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute on this motion. I want to make a few remarks and say that I support the County Allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill 2018. Mr. Speaker, there are certain things that we need to observe when we are allocating donor resources to counties, because we are aware counties lack capacity to implement some of these projects. Going through this report, Mr. Speaker, this bill, you find that we are allocating about 37 billion to counties, and these are funds either borrowed or donated by donors. We have a problem with our debt position right now as a country. Mr. Speaker, I'm worried that we are still giving counties a lot of resources from donors when we are not even certain that they have capacity to implement these programs. If you look at the last page on this bill, you find that we are giving about 11 billion to counties by World Bank, funds by World Bank, a credit by World Bank for Kenya Urban Support Project. This project appears huge and humongous, Mr. Speaker. But I think we need to understand what this project is all about, because these resources are too much. A county like, for instance, Washington Gishu is receiving 360 billion in respect of Kenya Urban Support Project, and many others. Mr. Speaker, we really have to be sure that counties have
The
capacity
Honorable
to implement
Bunyasi.
donor
The
funds.
Honorable Attorney,
donor
just hold
programs.
your horses. The Honorable Bunyasi. What is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, sir, is the honorable member in order to allude that there is 30-something billion being given? This is only 3.7 billion shillings in total. So I don't know why he's getting these large figures that he's talking about.
Very well, the Honorable Attorney.
Mr. Speaker.
Did you speak to 37 billion or 3.7 billion?
Mr. Speaker, I say that the total loans and grants that is being dispensed in this financial year is 36 billion.
In this particular one?
Yes, yes, yes.
No, it's only 3.7 billion.
Mr. Speaker, if you look at the total grants and loans in the last column N.
Yeah, just proceed.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
the mover had spoken.
So my point, Mr. Speaker, is that we need to ensure capacity of counties to implement donor funds that we are allocating to counties. That is one. Two, we know that donor funds have been abused in the past, Mr. Speaker. Even in national government, we have had resources contributed by donors being abused. And I want to caution counties that we need to ensure that these resources are used for the purpose for which they have been given. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, we need to ensure that counties provide to citizens budget estimates and implementation documents that will ensure that citizens are able to monitor these projects. Because, Mr. Speaker, if these projects are going to be conducted without proper public awareness to be able to know that these particular projects are going on, then, Mr. Speaker, we will not be able to achieve the purposes for which these monies are being allocated. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving the opportunity to support.
The mover?
Honorable Speaker, the member for Kikuyu has disappeared. He's supposed to do the moving, but I'll help him. No, Honorable Shakir, you can't just walk in. We are not in a market in your constituency. You need to first to follow what is going on in the House and get an order paper. Chair, I think this is a very important bill because the only thing we are doing, and I want to thank Honorable Professor Duol, Honorable Waluke, Honorable Aden, Honorable Member for, not Kitui South, Kitui South you spoke, a member for Lysamis, who agreed with me that we need to move to the next, because today is the last day, and the NYS bill is very critical. So this is just, the county allocation revenue was just amending the division of revenue bill, which we passed in August, to make sure that the donor funded in terms of the conditional grant or conditional allocations are factored in so that counties can access this money. And with those many remarks, I beg to reply.
Very well. Honorable members, for obvious reasons, I will not put this matter to question. I will direct that we move to the next order. And before that order is read out, you will see from your order paper that there are two bills set out for consideration at the Committee of the Whole House. One of them is the one that we have just completed. I will direct that the first one there, the Counter Allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill, so the first one there, the Counter Allocation of Revenue Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 2018, I direct that it is not ripe for consideration at Committee of the Whole House. I therefore direct that it be taken out of today's order paper so that we shall deal with the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018. Honorable members. Just hold on, members. Just hold on, members. I think.
Order number 13, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, we are now in Committee of the Whole House to consider the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018.
Clauses 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I propose that clauses 3, 4, 5, and 6 be part of the bill. I put the question that clauses 3, 4, 5, and 6 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
I propose the question that clause 7 be part of the bill. The Honorable Oundo, you have a proposed amendment to this?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I had intended to move amendments on clause 7, but after consulting the chair of the committee and the leader of the majority, I drop amendments under clause 7.
Very well. So the proposed amendments to clause 7 as proposed by the Honorable Jambo Oundo stand dropped. I therefore now yes, I see a proposed amendment by the chair of the committee on clause 7, 1D. Chair?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I beg to move that clause 7 be amended as proposed in the order paper. Chair, justification for this. Counties are coming up with their own services. And since this bill does not concern the counties, there is need to define the extent of operation of the service to only cover the national government as functions by defined in the fourth schedule of the Constitution. And where it is necessary, Chair, that counties, the service should engage counties, there has to be a consultation and memorandum be entered into. So that's the justification for this amendment, Chair.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that clause 7, 1D be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 7, 1D be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 7 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
I propose the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
I propose the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. The Honorable Oundo.
Thank you, Chair. To amend clause 9 as indicated in the order paper. And the justification, Chair, is to require that the person appointed as chair meets the qualification contemplated under 9.2. So that all that we are doing, instead of saying 9.2G, we are substituting there for the expression to read 9.2A and G. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 9 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Oundo Ojian. I now put the question that clause 9 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Oundo Ojiambo. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 9 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Well, as many of our contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I propose the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. Chair of Labour Committee.
Thank you, Chair, I beg to move the clause 10 be amended as proposed in the order paper. The justification for this, Chair, we use the word commission instead of council. So that's the justification, Chair. Thank you.
Very well and well understood. I therefore propose the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 10 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 11.
I propose the question that clause 11 be part of the bill. Chair?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I beg to move clause 11 be amended as proposed in the order paper. The justification for this, Chair, the council should not consult the CS on everything, including co-opting a member of the committee. It's a very simple thing, so they don't need to consult the CS on who to co-opt and why to co-opt.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 11 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 11 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 11 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
I propose the question that clause 12 be part of the bill. I see a proposed amendment by the chair.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I beg to move that clause 12 be amended as proposed in the order paper. The justification for this, Chair, there is a presidential directive that NYS graduates be absorbed in the military and the disciplined forces. That's just the justification that as quickly as they are done with the training, they be given the opportunity or priority to be absorbed in the disciplined forces.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chair. The Honorable Leader of Majority.
Chair, this is a very, very good amendment in the sense that when we are recruiting for disciplined forces or any other government institutions, I think priority be given to the youth who have graduated or who are serving in NYS. And this will help the country mop up the youth from all constituencies and will give them an incentive to join NYS and give us the numbers we require for that service. I beg to support.
I now put the question that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. There is a further amendment proposed to subclause 3 of clause 12 by the Honorable Ojiambo Undo.
Chair, my intention was to move this amendment as indicated here, and the reason was simple, straightforward, that in the acting, once the Director General has been given the delegated authority to make decisions, he or she will make decisions that will affect third parties. Now, the provision under the bill states that the council might withdraw that delegated power, and the decisions made during the subsistence of the delegated power can be withdrawn or varied by the council. My point of concern was what happens to those third parties who have been conferred benefits, positions, promotions, or whichever during the occurrence of the delegated power, and have made decisions, commitments based on that. What happens if they are withdrawn? I've had a discussion with the chair. He seems to be a bit uncomfortable, and I want to leave it to the House to give direction on what is the position, so that we are able to contextualize this matter. We do not punish innocent people just because who believed the Director General had the powers and authority to make those decisions, which were legally delegated to him or her with relevant regulations and guidelines. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, you have something to say to it? Very well, Chair, proceed.
Chair, I'm opposing this amendment for one simple reason. Initially, NYS starts with the DG and ends with the DG. We have brought on board an institution which oversights the running of this particular institution. His amendment intends to give more powers to DG than the oversighting body, which is supposed to be council. So I'm appealing to my brother to just withdraw that. Exactly. So I have problem with that as the chair of that committee.
Honorable member, the honorable leader of majority, just 1 second. Let me propose. Then you'll speak to it. I propose the question that clause 12, subclause 3C, be amended as proposed by the honorable Oundo Ojiambo. Leader of majority.
Chair, I think this bill is before this House because of the reform. You know, we want to have an independent council. And that's why when we denied the minister to be referred to in one way or the other. So I really want to oppose this amendment, that we don't want to cause more conflict between the council and the Director General.
Very well, honorable members, I now put the question that clause 12, subclause 3C, be amended. Say nay.
No.
The nays have it. I now put the question that clause 12, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 13, 14, and 15.
I propose the question that clauses 13, 14, and 15 be part of the bill. There are no amendments to this. I therefore now put the question that clauses 13, 14, and 15 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
I propose the question that clause 16 be part of the bill. Chair?
Chair, I beg to move that clause 16 be amended as proposed in the order paper. Chair, the justification for this amendment is to encourage the NYS so that the Director General be appointed from within the ranks of NYS than always bringing them from outside. That is the import of that amendment.
I propose the question that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the chair. The honorable leader of majority.
Chair, I think this is a very good amendment. You know, the mess we are in NYS, what took place, the times when we brought Director Generals from outside, you know, talk of the Mr. Gidinji, talk of Mr. Rugut, talk of Mr. current guy who is facing court. So and I think also to motivate and create an environment where somebody who is senior in NYS in the rank to one day aspire to be a Director General, I think this amendment fits and I support.
I put the question that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 16 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 17 and 18.
I propose the question that clauses 17 and 18 be part of the bill. There being no proposed amendments to this, I now put the question that clauses 17 and 18 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
I propose the question that clause 19 be part of the bill. I see a proposed amendment by the Honorable Giambo.
Chair, thank you for this opportunity again. I propose to amend clause 19 as indicated in the order paper, and the reason is to avoid the feeling that 5 years more or less looks tied to an elective calendar. So it's to give the DG some bit of independence, and secondly, most of constitutional offices, they provide for a term of 6 years, constitutional commissions. So just wanted to harmonize, and I've spoken to the chair. He has no issues with the amendment, and I seek the support of the House to amend clause 19 as indicated in the order paper. Thank you.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Oundo. I now put the question that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Oundo. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 19 as amended be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35.
I propose the question that clauses 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35 be part of the bill. There being no amendments, proposed amendments to this, I now put the question that clauses 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35 opinion say aye. Will as members of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 36.
I propose the question that clause 36 be part of the bill. Chair?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I beg to move that clause 36 be amended as proposed in the order paper. The justification for this, the service has number of equipment and properties. We just gave guidelines on when you destroy these properties, penalty of either payment or punishment in protection of those properties.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 36 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 36 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 36 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, and 68.
I propose the question that clauses 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, and 68 be part of the bill. There being no proposed amendments to this, I now put the question that clauses 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, and 68 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
First schedule.
I propose the first schedule to be the first schedule of the bill. There being no amendment to this, I now put the question that the first schedule be the first schedule of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
I propose the question that the second schedule be the second schedule of the bill. to the second schedule?
Yeah.
The Honorable
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker proposed an amendment discussed with the chair, and we were in concurrence that with regard to the ranking structure, the ranking structure is quite heavy. So the amendment I move is to reduce the ranking.
The Honorable Okwe, just hold your horses a little bit. Just hold your horses. Chair of the committee, please come.
Yes, Chair, we are in consultation, but unfortunately, what we agreed upon was on first schedule, not the second schedule. Not the second schedule. The first schedule, the ranking structure, what he's saying is true, because in the military there are 17 ranks, but in NYS they have given us 21. So we wanted to reduce that, the last 3 and 2 in the subordinate officers.
Oh, yes, Chair. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Chair, we have discussed that amendment and we are in agreement, but I think you give us, the chair and the member don't want to put, so let's just consult. We firm up a proper amendment.
Once we agree on it, then we can do the approval so that we move together. All right, then you can bring it for approval here. Very well. Honorable members, thank you for that consultation. It's part of the lawmaking, and the lawmaking process is a give and take, and this is the real thing now. So, honorable members, I'd just like to approach the House that you had approved the first schedule to be part of the bill. We had called the second schedule out, and what was pending was the question as to whether it should be part of the bill. I'll therefore then move to put the question that the second schedule be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
That schedule.
I propose the question that the third schedule be the third schedule of the bill. And now, the Honorable Leader, you have. And now put the question that the third schedule be the third schedule of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Fourth schedule.
I propose the question that the fourth schedule be the fourth schedule of the bill. And now put the question that the fourth schedule be the fourth schedule of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chair?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I beg to move that clause 2 be amended as proposed in the order paper. The justification for this, Chair, we have passed the Act for Coast Guard. We only wanted to recognize Coast Guard as part of the disciplined forces.
Very well. I now propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I move to reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, just hold your horses a little bit. We reorganize the bit on recommittal and see if it's possible. So Chair, just hold your horses. Consult with the table. Chairperson?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018, and approved the same with amendments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Farrell, mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the motion for agreement with the report of the whole House be amended by inserting the words subject to recommittal of the first schedule, and also request Honorable Kaunya, former State Administrator, to second.
The Honorable Oku Kaunya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I second that amendment with the recommittal. I second the recommittal.
I propose the question, members, which is that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House be amended by inserting the words subject to recommittal of clause first schedule. Honorable members, do I see interest? Honorable members, then I now put a question, which is that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House be amended by inserting the words subject to recommittal of the first schedule. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, we are in Committee of the Whole House. This one. To consider the recommittal of the first schedule. Yeah, you need to call it. Oh, yeah.
First schedule.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move that the first schedule of the bill be amended by deleting the following items. 1, Senior Sergeant Major. 2, Sergeant Major. And 3, under the column under officers, we delete A, Senior Serviceman 1, B, Senior Serviceman 2, and 3, we delete serviceman. I beg to move and ask the Honorable Member Oku to second.
Thank you, Chairman. I second this. The import of this is When it comes to the ranking structure was too heavy. And for disciplined forces, the question of command and control is very important, and it should be sharp. You would check, for example, for the military, we have 17 rankings. And when you go to this particular ranking initially, we had 21. So some of the ranks, like the under officers, and of course senior sergeant major and the sergeant major, are some of the ranks that we have actually done away with in some of the units. Like in the Kenya Police, the National Police Service, now we have 14 ranks. So the idea is to reduce the rankings. Thank you.
I propose the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the Honorable Oku Kaunya. Seeing no interest from members, I therefore now put the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the Honorable Oku Kaunya. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the first schedule as amended be the first schedule of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover to move reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018, and its approval thereof with amendment. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many of the court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the National Youth Service Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2018, and approved the same with amendments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Songkok 001 to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House as a member of the Labour Committee.
Proceed, Honorable Songkok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I do second.
Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I see no interest from members to debate on this. I'll therefore now direct that the question will be put at an appropriate time, that this matter will be set down on the other paper in the afternoon. The Honorable wait a minute.
Mr. Speaker, I support, because leader doesn't know that I've been in national government. Me and Kaunya, we put on uniforms and we've raised through ranks and we are disciplined officers. Discipline is not an act, it is just an habit. So the chairman, the organizational structure is in order. The command is in order. So I support fully because we've been in uniform. Thank you.
Very well, very well. Honorable members, the question will be put at an appropriate time. I'll direct that we move on to the next business on the order paper.
Order number 14, motion. Report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as vice chairperson and members of the Public Service Commission.
Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's okay. Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on Tuesday, 20th November 2018, pursuant to Standing Order 42 in bracket 2 of the National Assembly, in your communication to the House, you delivered a message from His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Armed Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya, nominating Mrs. Charity Selena Kisotu as Vice Chairperson, Dr. Joyce Kemunto Nyabuti, Dr. Mary Shiambaka Muyandi, Dr. Ruben Chepkemoi Chirchir, Ambassadors Patrick Simiyu Wamoto, Ambassador Sama Abdullahi Ahmed, Mr. Andrew Ndambiri Murioki, and Mr. Joan Odhiambo Otieno as members to the Public Service Commission pursuant to Article 250 in bracket 2 B of the Constitution. And the Honorable Speaker, the committee, having considered the curriculum vitae of the nominees and having had their oral submission during the vetting exercise, at the sitting held on Wednesday, 28th November 2018, made the following observation. 1, the nominees met the qualification requirements of the Public Service Commission Act number 10 of 2017. Second, the committee did not receive any memoranda regarding any of the nominees. Third, the nomination comprised of 5 persons of female gender and 3 male gender, and therefore meets the constitutional requirements of gender equity. Honorable Speaker, none of the nominees has at any time within the preceding 5 years vied, held office, or stood as a member of Parliament, or a county assembly, or a member of governing body of a political party. Honorable Speaker, the committee took cognizance of Article 250 in bracket 4 of the Constitution on composition and appointment of commissions and independent offices, which provides the national values under Article 10 and the principle the composition of commission and offices taken as a whole shall reflect regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, the committee noted that the chairperson of the Public Service Commission is already appointed and in office. The committee noted that unless the law prescribes otherwise in future, the appointing authorities should submit to the House a complete list of nominees to be vetted for appointment to a commission. Honorable Speaker, the committee noted that composition of the commission, if the nominees were to be approved
by the National Assembly, looked at alone, would not reflect regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya. However, Honorable Speaker, the committee noted that provision of Article 250 in bracket 4 of the Constitution requires that the composition and appointment of commissions and independent offices be considered as a whole in determining whether the same reflects regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, the committee therefore observed and noted that in future vetting exercises, parliamentary committees should be furnished with a schedule confirming the members of all Chapter 15 commissions and independent offices to enable Parliament to ensure that nominations are subject to vetting reflect regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, the committee observed that there was no person living with disability or a youth in the list of nominees presented for vetting to National Assembly. It would therefore be prudent, Honorable Speaker, to consider these two groups in future appointments. Honorable Speaker, the Public Service is one of the most important commissions in our republic. It has literally all civil servants in our country. As commissioners, the nominees that we are about to approve will be bestowed with a duty to serve our nation. They will need to put country first. It does not matter from which community or country or county one comes from. What matters most is the integrity and patriotism that each of the individual nominees will exhibit as a commissioner. Honorable Speaker, this is the team that must come up with policies to eradicate corruption, nepotism, impunity, among other evils that bedevil our nation. This is the team that we expect to come up with policies that ensures that our civil servants become dynamic and respond to Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, to expect this team of commission to reward performing civil servants and punish errant civil servants without fear or favor. Honorable Speaker, this is the team that will ensure that civil servants become enablers to Kenyans' legitimate business enterprises and not killers of Kenyans' dreams and aspirations. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, having considered the suitability of the nominees pursuant to Article 252 in bracket B of the Constitution and Section 8(2) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act number 33 of 2011 and the Public Service Commission Act, the committee recommends the National Assembly approves the nomination of the following persons for appointment as Vice Chairperson and members to the Public Service Commission. 1, Mrs. Charity Selena Kisotu as Vice Chairperson. 2, Dr. Joyce Kemunto Nyabuti, member. 3, Dr. Mary Shiambaka Muyandi, member. 4th, Ruben Kipkemoi Chirchir, member. 5, Ambassador Patrick Simiyu Wamoto, member. 6, Ambassador Sama Abdullahi Ahmed, member. 7, Mr. Andrew Dambiri Morioki, member. Number 8, Mrs. Joanne Adhiambo Otieno, member. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move And I call upon Honorable Edward Kaunya to second. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Oku Kaunya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I stand to second. Mr. Speaker, the vetting exercise that we did as a Committee of National Security, National Administration and Security, during the vetting, we actually found all the nominees quite qualified, in line with the Constitution and in line with the Public Service Commission Act, number 10. And in terms of the experience, all of them had good grounding in terms of public service experience in various institutions. We observed, of course, what Chairman, Mr. Speaker, has pointed out, that there is need in the future to have, when vetting public officers, to ensure that the list of all those appointees in the various commissions, especially the Chapter 15 commissions, and other independent offices, the Constitution, that that list be looked at based on the provisions of Article 254, which really the provision requires that a vetting exercise of this kind would consider in totality the appointments in all commissions. Therefore, it will be important in the future when you have the full list, then you can look at the regional and ethnic balance properly. But as it stands, looking at the qualifications in terms of the requirements of the Constitution, the Act, the experience, the members listed, Mr. Speaker, met the requirements, and we recommended this House to approve the appointments accordingly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second.
Honorable members, I propose a question that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security in their report on the vetting of the nominees for appointment as Vice Chairperson and members of the Public Service Commission, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, December 4, 2018, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 233, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution and Sections 3 and 5 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, this House approves the appointment of the following to the Public Service Commission. 1, Roman 1, Ms. Charity Selena Kisotu, Vice Chairperson. Roman 2, Dr. Joyce K. Nyambuti, Member. Roman 3, Dr. Mary C. Muyandi, Member. Roman 4, Dr. Ruben K. Chirchir, Member. Roman 5, Ambassador Patrick Simiyu Wamoto, Member. Roman 6, Ambassador Salma A. Ahmed, Member. Roman 7, Mr. Andrew N. Muriuki, Member. And Roman 8, Ms. Joan Odhiambo Otieno, Member. The Honorable Lesankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And from the onset, let me say that the committee have done a marvelous job, and I do support this particular report. Honorable Speaker, some of these nominees, I have interacted with them in the past, and they are men and women of integrity, who I'm sure will spearhead the changes that are required in the public service, especially in employment, balancing regions, and also making sure that the 2/3 gender threshold is maintained in the appointive positions. Because, Honorable Speaker, unlike in the elective position, in the appointive position, everybody table their own qualification and the CV, and people are given those jobs based on merits, Honorable Speaker. So I'm sure seeing the list of the nominees with this gender balance, especially seeing women of integrity like Ms. Charity Selina Kisotu, Ms. Dr. Joyce, Dr. Mary, Honorable Speaker, I have no doubt in my mind that they will spearhead changes required in this particular public service commission, which all public servants go through. Honorable Speaker, I also support this one because of the regional balancing that is around here. Honorable Speaker, in this commission I can see South Rift represented, Nyanza, Northern Kenya, North Rift, and Honorable Speaker, that is what the drafters of our constitution had in mind when they say that we should consider regional balance. Honorable Speaker, there is also something that I will like to advise the committee and also the head of state to consider in future. That is Article 54 of our Constitution, which demand that in all these commissions or appointive position, there should also be consideration of persons with disabilities. Even though I can authoritatively say, without fear of contradiction, that as a country we have tried, it's just recently, I think 2 or 3 months ago, that we had a vetting of two commissions, nominees of 2 commissions. That is the Commission of Administrative of Justice, which then we had somebody who is deaf, Honorable Speaker. We also had vetting of National Gender Equality Commission nominees, and Honorable Speaker, there was also a representation of person with disability, Dr. Chomba, who is visually impaired. Honorable Speaker, but when they are left out in key commissions, like Public Service Commission, which, Honorable Speaker, will be the engine behind employment. Honorable Speaker, as a person with disability and a representative of the 6 million persons with disability in this country, I'm worried because this is the engine that will spearhead employment in our country. Should be of persons with disabilities. So, Honorable Speaker, this was a key, a very key commission for us as persons with disability to be represented. But since all these Kenyans are qualified, they are Kenyans of integrity, I support this one and ask the head of state, in the name of Almighty God, to consider us in the appointment of the chairperson. We have so many persons with disabilities who are more than qualified, and this commission will be very well constituted if then in the appointment of the chairperson, then we have a person living with disabilities. Of course, I'll not qualify now that I'm here, so I'm not defending myself, but I'm 100% sure there are persons with disabilities outside there who are very much qualified. Honorable Speaker, and I really commend the committee. I once sat in this vetting exercise. They were very thorough. I can only compare their way of vetting to the way that cabinet secretaries are being vetted in Ghana. I once participated in vetting of cabinet secretaries in Ghana, and it was like an interactive session. When they were vetting, it was a thorough job, and it was like an interactive session, which every part of our constitution was touched in terms of integrity, the qualification, the CV, because sometimes the CV is not enough. You may be so much qualified, but then you are a thief. You may be so much with a very big CV, but you lack integrity. Honorable Speaker, they did a thorough job, and I must congratulate them and urge this House to support this report of the nominees of Public Service Commission. So thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I beg to support.
Very good contribution, the Honorable Sankok. Disability can never be inability. I agree with you. But again, we know that those who do the thieving, they hardly put it on their CVs or wear it on their sleeves. So it is it's a difficult job that our committee has to do when they are doing this vetting. Honorable members, allow me to recognize in the speakers gallery the presence of the cricket committee team from India who are visiting our country, Kenya. And they are led by their chair, Mr. Vikram Kaul. Feel welcome to observe the proceedings of the National Assembly of Kenya and enjoy Kenya too. We shall proceed, honorable members. The next member on my board here is the Honorable Arbele Malimo, member for Lai Samis.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the report of the vetting of the nominees as Vice Chairperson and members of the Public Service Commission. Mr. Speaker, I've actually looked at Songok remain behind. Mr. Speaker, I have personally gone through the list of the nominees, and I've actually checked their CVs, and I've actually found out that the nominees' CVs was actually very excellent. Their academic performances were beyond our expectation, and we have actually approved that as a committee, they were up to the task. Mr. Speaker, I just believe that the nominees will be able to take up the task and transform the public service so that it becomes an institution where integrity is upheld, and they will be able to do away with corruption, which has become a menace in this country. Equally, Mr. Speaker, it is only unfortunate that as a committee we noted that the committee list did not meet the threshold of the regional balance and ethnic diversity. We actually recommended, just because the names were presented to us by the President of the Republic of Kenya, and we said that at least for today, we try to approve this list, but next time, at least, we have to put our foot down to ensure that regional balance is considered. On the same footage, Mr. Speaker, I have also taken much concern that there was no consideration for people with disability, and including the youth. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, as Honorable Sankok he made an attempt to walk out of the chambers, and I actually asked him to remain behind so that I ordered him actually to remain behind, because what I was going to say about people with disability was going to support people with disability, and he is here actually to check, to have a hawk eye in any commissions or people vetted so that he ensures that he either shoots down or he supports nominees whose list people with disabilities are not included, including the youth. However, having supported before me that he has actually supported he had shown a concern to support the nominees, then for today at least we will be able to, I will really acknowledge and I will salute him, but next time we will ensure that the Constitution has been adhered to the letter, that people with disability must be included. A youth must be included. We must be able to have the face of Kenya so that those marginalized communities also have representation in the list. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I support the list to be approved. Thank you.
The Honorable Odege. Honorable members, you don't need to lift up your hand. The list is right here with you. So,
okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Before I support the report, I'm somehow worried because after listening to a member of the committee, because with us here, we are benefiting from names. We are not seeing indication of the regions where they're coming from, but now we are getting it from a member of the committee that regions are not balanced. From my good friend, Honorable Sankok, judged members of this committee, they proposed members of the committee by names and saying the regions are balanced here. And a member from the committee saying regions are not balanced. Again, when you look at the report by names, there is no indication of a person with disability. There is no indication of a youth. When you look at the challenge we have in the country today, is employment of the youth. And the leading employer in this country is Public Service Commission. And if you have a commission with no representative of youths, the youths of this country are doomed. And I think it's high time those who sat in this committee and gave us the report, we are not going to reject the report, but next time, please, it's important for us to ensure that this key employment agency, the lead government employing agency, must have youth representation. Because if you don't have the youth there, because most of the people I'm seeing here, I know some of them, 80% are retirees. These are people who have educated their kids, they have even employed their kids, they have cleared their families. They don't feel the pain of the youth. We need to go extra mile and allow the youth to sit in most of these commissions so that they can defend their own interest in the committees. But if this trend will continue the way we are going, the youth will continue crying and the retirees will continue benefiting. So I am supporting the report, but I'm recommending that next time we need a very clear indication in the report. If number one is a youth, let them indicate a youth and from where, so that the regional balancing we can see in the report. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Very well. The Honorable Ashira Kabinga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also arise and support this list of nominees. And as I do so, Mr. Speaker, I would like to really thank and congratulate the nominating authority for ensuring that this time, despite areas that have not been covered, there was a serious attempt to do not only regional balancing, but also look at areas of marginalization, Mr. Speaker. I know we could not have everybody represented in this list, but at least having participated in the exercise that vetted the list of nominees, I can confirm that the committee was very, very serious in looking through to the list that was presented before it, Mr. Speaker. And as our chairman did say, we were particularly interested in Article 250, sub-Article 4, to ensure that we comply with the Constitution. We even went further, Mr. Speaker, to also look at the actual applicants, the names of applicants in the internet, because it's posted there. The many names that applied for these jobs, Mr. Speaker, and we were satisfied that the final list that was presented truly reflected what one would want to see in a public service commission. Mr. Speaker, we also went deeper, not just the region, but also wanted to know within those regions, have we considered those counties that have traditionally been left out in some of these appointments. And we were quite encouraged to see counties like Narok. We were encouraged to see Tharaka Nithi out of the Raja Meru. We were able to see Kirinyaga out of the Raja Central Region. And this was very, very, very encouraging, Mr. Speaker. We also looked at the experiences of the nominees, the diverse experience that these nominees possessed in the public service, the private sector, and we also had nominees coming from the universities. We were particularly impressed by the nominee from Kirinyaga, who has a high experience in procurement in the university. We also had Mary Shiambaka coming from the University of Nairobi. We do expect, Mr. Speaker, that we are really going to have a vibrant public service commission that will reflect what Kenyans would want to see. Kenyans today would want to see people nominated because of their ability. They want to see people who will get in there and work for Kenya, not for some certain sections of the country. And for this reason, we are heading to what we would want to see, where people are no longer worried about who is appointed. They are worried about that person's experience, that person's ability to deliver the services, and that is what we really looked for, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, again, the composition of the nominees, the experiences, the knowledge that we found in there, Mr. Speaker, it was really encouraging, and we are very hopeful that the team that we have now will be able to move in, make a lot of changes in the public service. We listened to some of them. They have very nice ideas. We are praying and hoping that when they get to office, they will carry those ideas with themselves on automation and on re-engineering our public service in this country. If they implement what they promised us to do in and during the vetting exercise, we have no doubt that we are going to have a lot of changes in this country, that people will no longer be worried about who is getting appointed where through the Public Service Commission, because these are people who showed a lot of dedication, Mr. Speaker. We are therefore satisfied that all those areas that members have mentioned here, and as I said, we only needed a certain number of commissioners. We could not have everybody represented. But Mr. Speaker, in total, having looked at other commissions and having gone by Article 250 sub-Article 4, we are certain that Kenya is now heading to a situation where all communities will be in one way or another represented in all the commissions that we have. And if we do so, then we are no longer going to have this feeling that some people are left out. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I want to truly and fully support this list of nominations and hope that they will be appointed, and also pray that these nominees will do what they promised us to do during the vetting. Mr. Speaker, as I sit, let me confirm to you that as a committee, we really took time. We never just went there to sit and look at names. We actually went up to deep at night to ensure that we have considered all these things that people would expect. And for that reason, I do hope, as my colleagues have just said, that future appointments will look at the youth, look at people with disability. From the list that we saw of applicants, unfortunately, we did not come across people who qualified, and they were youth, they were people with disability, and they were left out. And so we encourage that in future, our youth should come in and apply for these jobs. People living with disabilities should come out and apply for these jobs, so that when we finally have them in Parliament, we have their representation. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you.
The Honorable Badi Twalib, member for Jomvu.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipatia fursa hii na mimi kuchangia juu ya hoja hii ambayo ni ya kuangazia hawa walioteuliwa katika service board hii. Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo ambalo limenifurahisha zaidi kutoka kwa committee member ambaye amezungumza sasa hivi, amesema kuwa waliweza kuangazia hawa wote ambao waliweza kuuliza kazi hii na wakawaona kuwa ni watu wa tajriba kubwa ambayo wanaweza kufanya kazi ili kutoa mchango mkubwa katika serikali yetu hii ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, nimeiona personally mimi mwenyewe binafsi kazi ambayo ndugu Charity ambaye wakati wa nyuma aliweza kuhudumu na tumemuona akifanya kazi kwa njia nzuri, na vile vile Balozi Salma ambaye alikuwa akifanya kazi kama balozi, na tumeiona kazi yake kuwa aliweza kutoa mchango mkubwa sana katika nchi hii ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka kusema kuwa mimi naunga mkono katika na kupongeza komiti hii ili kuweza kupitisha mswada huu, na vile vile kuona kuwa hawa ambao wameweza kufanywa vetting tumeweza kuwapitisha ili waweze kuanza kazi na kutoa mchango katika serikali yetu ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipatia fursa hii ili kuweza kuchangia katika mambo haya. Lakini narudia Mheshimiwa Spika kusema kuwa komiti ni lazima iangalie katika vigezo fulani kama vile ambavyo vimetajwa na waheshimiwa wenzangu, kuangalia vijana na vile vile kuangalia hali ya walemavu. Lakini pia mimi nasihi vile vile kusema kuwa vijana na vile vile walemavu, wakati zitakapokuwa nafasi zimetangazwa kama hizi, ni lazima watume maombi na maombi yale yaambatane katika hali ambayo inaweza kukimu katika zile kanuni ambazo zitahitajika. Kwa hivyo kwa hayo machache Mheshimiwa Spika, nashukuru kwa kunipa fursa hii, na mimi naunga mkono hawa ambao wamewekwa hapa kama waweze kuchaguliwa. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
The Honorable Onyego Osoro, member for South Mugirango.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise first to support the report by the good committee in regard to the appointments of good people to the Public Service Commission. Mr. Speaker, I'm really liking the work this committee is doing, and this is actually the second time I've seen their report. Last time we saw a report for the appointments of IPOA officials, and it was equally to its best. And today, they've not disappointed. Mr. Speaker, these nominees meet the threshold that is required. You look at regional balance, Mr. Speaker, they meet that. I do not really understand when some members say that it does not really meet the regional balance, because we are only talking about 8 positions. I mean, how then could you want someone to have people from all regions in this country? It's not practical. It's not practical. It's completely not practical. If we had 2 nominees from one ethnic community, then we could be complaining. But Mr. Speaker, you look at this balance, every person has been, okay, all these people who've been nominated, Mr. Speaker, are from different regions. We cannot manage to get all the 42 tribes or 44, whichever number, to meet, to be within the 8 that were required. It's not practical. So, Mr. Speaker, this is completely good. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at the gender, we've got women, we've got men. And this is actually where we should be talking about the 2/3. It's not actually in Parliament. This is now where the 2/3 discussion should be now brought. The Commission meets that. We have women here who are capable, who are learned, doctors. Actually, if you notice, Mr. Speaker, the only doctor male that has been nominated here is Ruben. The rest are female. So clearly women are competing where it matters most.
The education is the equalizer, and the committee did its best to nominate or to have these nominees, well vetted, and clearly they meet the required threshold. On the issue of young people, Mr. Speaker, I am a young man, but Mr. Speaker, we need equally to look at some positions that befit us as young people. Parliamentary Service Commission is a commission of national interest. Mr. Speaker, you cannot get a fresh graduate to sit in a commission of this magnitude. I mean, clearly, you will mess up. There are some places you can have some young people, and it's true, in my view. Some of these things need a little bit of some experience of 3, 2, 4, 5 years, and this experience can be, acquired from different. I believe that Dr. Mary, Dr. Ruben have worked in different places. And as I said, education is the best equalizer. So if a young man is well educated, you cannot miss an opportunity somewhere to build yourself to get to the level where you become now an employer. Without some little experience, Mr. Speaker, in the public, in one's field, one might not really meet or be able to, curb such kind of jobs that are of high magnitude. I see some members of parliament complain on this, but I must persist and say, Mr. Speaker, that this commission requires people of great experience to be able to sit in the commission. And Mr. Speaker, as I wind up, I'll touch on what Honorable Sankong talked about, the persons living with disability.
I see members carrying their hands up, and I don't see their cards inside anywhere where they can raise points of order. No, you cannot. You know the Speaker's decision on this. If you don't have your card, too bad, gentlemen. You know the only way to attract the Speaker's attention is through slotting in your card. Yes, proceed, the Honorable Onyego.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think it's good you defend us very well. Now, Mr. Speaker, as I went up, I was talking about what Honorable Sankok talked about persons living with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, I want to believe that much of these things were done according to the law. Advertisements were placed. And as I said, some jobs require education, they require experience. It's not about physical capability and your looks. Some jobs require you to be learned, some jobs require you to have some experience. So we appreciate the contributions of some people, the persons who are living with disability, like the sharpest Honorable Sankok. But Mr. Speaker, that cannot be the only requirement for you to be appointed or to be placed in a certain area. You need something extra. And one such thing that you need is education and experience. If you are able to meet that, and I think that is the direction we should be looking at. We should stop looking at these things and look at the nominations of people you want to look at a person from your tribe. We need to look at one CV. We should stop looking at a list and start complaining, okay, is there a young man or whatever. We need now to start looking at things from the point of education and the point of experience. That way, we'll be able to raise or to help this country go higher heights. And in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I again commend the committee, and I fully support the recommendation, the report by the committee. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Soro, you have now become a crusader for women's rights, but you're saying that they should also prepare themselves for these positions by going to school to compete competitively in all the fields. The Honorable member for Starehe, I cannot see you. I cannot see you. I cannot. Yes. I cannot see your card here, as much as you may be carrying up your hand, but you don't have your card today. Yes. Yes, when you will remember to wear one with pockets, then you will come with your card. We'll give you an opportunity. But you have also just walked in. Let me give this opportunity to the Honorable Lodepe Nakara.
Chairman, Honorable Speaker, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Though I want to join the rest of the group, Honorable Speaker, but I want to bring an element that Mheshimiwa Osoro has mentioned, that there are some positions that the youth cannot hold because of lack of experience. Honorable Speaker, how can we pass the baton of leadership to another generation if we are not going to give our youth opportunities to gain experience. Because, Honorable Speaker, unless you are given an assignment for you to perform, then you can get experience. Honorable Speaker, recycling the members, the senior members of this country is the problem in this country. Yes, they have experience, yes, they have education, but recycling them from one commission to another commission, from ambassadorial position to commission, Honorable Speaker, we will not get our youth time or opportunities to gain experience. So, though we are supporting the list, but we should remember the youth need to be given opportunity, no matter how big the position, they can gain experience, so that in the future, they can take over. Second, Honorable Speaker, we have what we call affirmative action. Affirmative action favors the marginalized, favors the minorities, favors the little educated. Honorable Speaker, if we go by education qualification in this country, there are some areas that you cannot recruit people because of academic qualification. We need to balance, Honorable Speaker. We need to balance. So when my brother is saying that all these guys are that have excelled in academic, it's good. But what we have what we call affirmative action.
The Honorable Odepe, just 1 second. There's an agitation from the Honorable Badi Twali from behind you, who seems to have a burning point of order. What is out of order, the Honorable Twali?
Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi na Mheshimiwa Jagwa tunakwenda kuchukua shahada zetu kesho kule Mount Kenya University. Nakuwa naomba kwa unyenyekevu mpatie ruhusa tunaitwa tukachukue vitu vyetu.
The Honorable Twali, you are out of order. You are surely out of order. You are out of order. To pick your shahada, your certificate from the wherever you may be graduating from is entirely within your choice. But we wish you well as you go on to graduate. The Honorable Odepe, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was trying to say that affirmative action cares everybody. You may be having a diploma or a degree and you have experience and you have other factors that can make you a leader or can contribute to that particular assignment you have been given. So, Honorable Speaker, I support the group, but let's give a signal to our—
Honorable Odepe, the time is now for us to adjourn.
Thank
we
you,
will have
Speaker.
a balance of 7 minutes when we resume with this debate in the afternoon.
Honorable
members, the time being 1:02 p.m., this House stands adjourned till Thursday, 6th December 2018 at 2:30 p.m.